All right, I think we're live. So let's go ahead and get started, Akilo.
Already, let's go. No
All
time
right,
out.
do it. Let's do it. First and foremost, greetings to all of you that will be joining today, that will be joining tomorrow, and that will be joining 3 years from now. Greetings and salutations to you all. First and foremost, too, we're gonna give a shout out to the Most High, because that's why we here, and we're gonna give another shout out to Chief, because there was a lot of time, energy, and effort that was spent putting his energy into this work that we're about to go over. So we definitely want to give a shout out to them, and then we are going to go ahead and read. This book is not to be read only once, Brother Lowe. Can you tell me why this book is not to be read only once?
Because you're probably not going to retain the information by reading it only just once. You got to get the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and that takes multiple readings. You know what I'm talking about?
Why people always think that they could just skim through something and then I got that. Almost like, when they go to school and they take a test. Like, I got a test at the end of the strong, so I'm going to just bang this out and then I'm good to go and I don't never got to look at it again.
Well, that's because, some people just want the Cliff Notes version. Some books, they don't want to get immersed or digested or invested into the book. You know what I'm saying? So they be like, they got short attention spans. You know what I'm talking about? So, they just want to hurry up and see what they can get. What's the main points? And then that's it. That's all they came for.
And moving on. All right. Read the words of this book of knowledge and wisdom out loud. Discuss the convictions of this work with your Anu brothers and sisters. I think that's important too. Your Anu brothers and sisters. Why do you think you put Anu brothers and sisters and not just discuss the work?
Because it's important to discuss, people that's in your community, you know what I'm talking about, and to fellowship with your Aelites. And people that are outside of that community, they may not be susceptible to the information, and they may just look at you stupid, like, what are you talking about? You know, you know, um, Jesus is my Lord and Savior. I mean, they may be on that. You never know. It could be anything.
Come on, let them use you. Let them use you now, Aki. Let them use you, brother. And I think that's important though, because you go around, your environment is always going to be stronger than your teachers. And if you keep interjecting yourself into spaces that you shouldn't belong, you're going to start second guessing yourself. Or you might be like, well, maybe I don't belong over here. Maybe I am doing something wrong. Instead of getting around like-minded individuals, or like you said, your Aelites, where you can now deliberate instead of other people giving their opinions and starting to be like, oh, okay, this is how we going to attack this. Yeah. All right. Share this information with your people. This publication should be read daily. Every line in this book can be taken out of context and studied on the own strength of its own potential. The truth is to be deliberated. There you go, right there. All right. And while we give some shots out, in here, we're going to put a question up for y'all to respond to. All right. And we see Sister Munra. Greetings. Sham the Joy. Shalom. Sister Shirla. Sister Sovereign Eats. Chief. What it do? Emanaya. Shabbat Shalom. Abba Utu. Peace, good brother. Sister Kashia. Brother Vermont. What's up? Peace, Brother Ricochet. 7. And boom. Okay. She got a question. Says what? Boom. There you go. What's an Aelite, Brother Love?
And Aelite is as those that are among you, those that at least those that are in your community that understand and vibe off the same vibration that you do. You know what I'm saying? they're of like-mindedness as you are. So that's that's my answer to that.
What's your culture? I knew. What's your religion? I knew. Who's your people? I knew. I
Exactly.
mean, at some point, when you start getting around people who, which we're going to touch on here in a minute because it's in the reading, just of having a wayward mind, right? Or wayward spirits and going in all different directions, and you start to become a baby, and you ultimately a baby in information, and you really not grounded and rooted into, your culture and who and what you are. It's gonna be hard to try to stand firm when everybody else is like, "What well, this person died for my sins, or this you reading that wrong, or you're not looking at this." And you get around enough of them, and then all of a sudden it's hard. Or just having those attachments that one is not willing to let go of. I mean, a lot of times I see people just taking on information. I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna learn. But they don't want to let go of anything. Like I want to still hold on to all of this old garbage that I've been pulling, even though this garbage is what landed me here, and I'm trying to find something to get me out of the rut. I'm still gonna hold on to all of this garbage that I've been hauling along, because I just want to add some more things in my bag, as opposed to, you know what? I'm learning this to walk away from some things. I'm learning this to let go of these things, as opposed to grabbing more information and holding on to it. So, yeah. All right. Boom. Put the bang. What's the most important piece on this? So what's the brother Lowe? Can you tell me what the most important piece on the chessboard is?
Oh, it's the king, man. You know what I'm talking about? It's the king. It's the more important piece. You know.
Why you say that?
Oh, because it decides the rules of the games and the terms of how the game is won and lost. You know, no other piece does that. I mean, they bring about the situations for the game to be won and lost. But if you lose the king, the game's over. It's done. You know. Whereas you can lose a queen or a rook or a knight, but you can get it back. You know what I'm saying? If you just get your pawn on the other side of the board, you can get it back, but you can't get the king back. You know what I'm saying? That's the only piece you can't get back. You know, so that's why.
Okay, so let me come from a different angle then. You telling me then that if your queen is gone, right now, it doesn't put you at a significant disadvantage for the game. Now that, I mean, if it was, I think the everything has a point system. It's 8 points for the queen, 5 points for the rooks, 3 points for the knights and the bishop, 1 point for the pawn. Now, if I lose my 8 points, man, it's hard to start maneuvering with things that are limited in the axis of where they can move to now. So it wouldn't be right up there as the most important piece.
No, because like I said, you can get that back. You know what I'm saying? You can lose your queen, but you can get one back. You can even make yourself a dang queen. Doesn't the pawn prove that already? You know what I'm talking about? Yes, you may lose your queen, and you may be at a disadvantage, but that's where tactics and strategy comes in, to where you can maneuver and still win the game, even if you lose the queen. But you can also get it back. You know what I'm saying? What's the only piece you can't get back? If you lose it, you can't get it back. The game's over, and that's the king. You know what I'm saying? So even if you lose your 8 points, you can get 8 points back. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's you're not, the game's not over if you lose your 8 points. That's the main thing. The game is not over. You know what I'm saying? It's like you may see yourself as losing, but you ain't lost. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta change up your strategy and change up your tactics to what to what it was before you lost your queen. You know what I'm saying? You may have to change up tactics and see something else. You know what I'm saying? And think um, 3 steps ahead why you lost your queen. That's all. You just got to change up your maneuvers.
Can a king still be a king if nobody listens?
I mean, historically he can. Historically he can. But then that's where the insurrection comes from, and and rebellions come from, and things like that. So it can be done, but it's not it's not recommended. I just feel like that's not recommended. You know.
So then does that start to speak to the nature of this king then, and really the nature of his direction if nobody is listening or if there's no order?
Yeah, it does. Because you have to command and you have to lead, and if nobody's listening to your leadership or your instruction, then why are you the king? What makes you the king? You just as they say in politics, you a lame duck. You know how they say you a lame duck president at the end of your term. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody gonna listen to you. You know, it's the same thing. Ain't nobody listening to you. You know what I'm saying? But then you gotta pay attention to who they are listening to. Because if they ain't listening to you, they're listening to somebody. So now you got to pay attention to who they are listening to and what they are telling them. You know, so
All right.
that goes in with that, bro.
All right, so we got Chief in here. Man. The most important piece can vary depending on strategy from position to position and from game to game. But generally, the king is. However, could be a pawn or a knight any day. Now, I think even, okay, so let's look at this, Brother Lowe. It says position and from game to game, right? So it's almost in a sense of what game is one playing. And the game, let's just say, is knowledge, because a lot of times people say, "Oh, I don't like playing games," and that's because they're usually losing the game. And but one is just receiving game when they're receiving light or they're receiving knowledge. Now it's like, what game do you want to submit to ultimately? And if that game starts to lead you down a different road where they start to have some feminist agenda, something like that, where they start to tell you, "Nah, you the most important piece. That's why you just look to yourself, and yourself, you got all the answers." Would you say, I don't know that he might be meaning something else, but that's just what jumped out at me when I looked at that. Anything?
Well, it depends on, well, one, I would say it depends on what you're playing for, and it depends on who your opponent is. Because and who your opponent is, and if y'all playing the same game, because you may be playing the game that your opponent ain't playing. Case in point, like in historically in the Vietnam War, American officers were playing the battlefield like chess, whereas the Viet Cong was playing it like it was Go, and that's an entire different game. you know. Whereas the Americans was like, well, we're going to go for territory for territory for territory, and you had to be a calm. They were like, oh, we'll just give you that because we're playing for something else because we already know the land anyway. You don't. You think that it's about gaining territory. It's not even about that. We're not even playing the same game as you. you know, you going for this hill here, but you ain't gonna hold it for. It's not important to you. Whereas I can take it anytime I want to. So that's one example. But yeah, you have to know what you're playing for, who you're playing against, and establish if y'all playing the same game or not. I would say.
So would you say then it's important for one to know their role in the game?
Oh yeah, you gotta know your role in the game, man. You know what I'm talking about. Know your role. Oh yeah, like the Rock. Know your role and shut your mouth.
All right. I mean, because that's where people get in trouble. But why do you think why do you think when people get into families, roles, people say that word role just seems to start to now make people uncomfortable. But then when they go to work, they're fine with their role on the job. They're fine with their role in the company. They're fine with any other role But then all of a sudden, when we're talking about playing chess when it comes to family and structure, now all of a sudden my role is like, well, why do I have to do that? Why do I have to do this?
I think it goes with being dysfunctional and things like that. Because they're cool with it because it puts money in their pocket or give them benefits, so they'll put up with it. Whereas they probably don't value family or know what a family provides, therefore they scoff at it or they rebel against it because they don't see it as important or important to their survival as a unit or as an individual, I would say.
Come on, man. Come on, brother Low. All right, we got so let's see. Chief got it. Says there are times when the Dark Knight Batman will be less important than the pawn. Huntress, even though the King Superman is on the board, despite the Queen Wonder Woman being in play. Come on, Chief. You better break that down now. Go to work. Get surgical with this thing right here. Okay. Good night. All right. And we got Abba Utu says the king is the founder of his kingdom and he must knowledge the knowledge of his ciphers so he can enforce his laws and so he can be recognized as the king of his kingdom. All right, there we go. And then Brother Vermont says that could be like style in martial arts. One is not more important, but could more applicably a higher percentage of the time. All right. All right. So you want to go ahead and start the reading?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, for sure. All right. The masters, the homes of the homestead is charged with protecting the spiritual, physical, mental, and overall well-being. That
You all right, Brother Lowe?
Yeah, sorry about that. It is charged with. Okay, let me read over. The master of the homestead is charged with protecting the spiritual, physical, mental, and overall well-being of that which is inside of the homestead. He is serving as a guardian over.
Boom. All right. So the master of the home bill collector. Oh man. All right. So the master of the homestead is charged with protecting spiritual, physical, mental. Now, what does that say then about the master of the homestead and what now start to have to learn? You need to know in order to be the master of the homestead. Is it something that people just abide by from a sense of age? So now with age supposedly comes wisdom? Or is it something else? Is it more to it, would you say, Brother Lowe, that will make somebody the master of the homestead?
I think it comes with knowledge. Age does play a position because of experience, but and also with age comes trial and error. If you're a guy, it comes with trial and error as a guy because you have to know more than one. Have more than one experience and made some mistakes along the way. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a little bit of both. You know.
And I guess the thing that really stands out for me when let me move this over here. That stands out for me when I look at that is just the physical, mental, and overall well-being. Spiritual, physical, mental. Spiritual, physical, mental. And if this master of the homestead has not conquered his ultimately like a wayward spirit of running after idol gods, or just having mental attachments that I gotta have this and I gotta have that. Then ultimately, how is the family dynamic? Like if you can't look after the rest of the family, if one hasn't mastered their own sense of that spiritual, physical, and mental, I think even the power of silence is those three have to be all in alignment to be able to listen to the one. And then therefore now, like the king in the chessboard, is being able to now give out clear, pure light to the rest of the family. And if that person does not have that clean, pure light that they can disseminate to the rest of the family, then now all of a sudden it's like, well, I ain't really listening. Well, like now the family dynamics are moving and it's shifting. But now it's just a matter of, does that man have his stuff together where it's like, oh yeah, I'm not trying to get a body count up. And it's like, it's not me just trying to stick my piece in, even though, I mean, it's not bad to want to be knocked down a lot of bad chicks. But I'm saying is like, is this now controlling your life where you just feel like you're just doing something like you back in high school and I'm just trying to run it up and do all of this other kind of stuff? Or now it's like I'm thinking of myself instead of thinking, what am I pouring into my children? What am I pouring into my mate? What am I pouring into all of those that need it the most, who ultimately this world is just trying to tell them who and what they are on a consistent basis, and letting the world molest them in really trying to tell them this is what you're going to do and this is what you're not going to do. This is what you should get mad about. This is what you shouldn't get mad about. This is how you should feel about yourself. This is how you shouldn't feel about yourself. And I know a lot of times it's put on men that, you know, they're just aggressive and they like to, but and they're not really nurturing. But I would say men are nurturing by nature, because it even goes with that. They're protecting the spiritual, physical, and mental well-being. Everything that they do, everything that men do, is nurturing, making sure that that community sustains itself. I mean, even if you see people who have no sense of culture, the first thing that they like to do if they get a little money is, I'm gonna buy my mama a house, right? Like that's the first thing that they start talking about. So I mean, if we start to look at it in that sense, it's just a matter of, okay, but if this person is protecting, but now can you get that real pure light and that knowledge so that you can protect your family? I've been talking a lot, so you want to jump in there, brother Lowe?
Oh, I would say you're right in that sense, but you have to think, man creates civilizations, and then they have to have a plan or a purpose on what they want the civilization to be, and that just don't take 5 years. That takes a long time, and then you may have to revise that plan, or you may want to expand it, and it may be beyond your wildest dreams. You know what I'm saying? You look at some cultures, they may not have thought that they could go that far, or they can expand their influence to more than one land. You know what I'm saying? Or more than one ocean. But they obviously had a plan and a direction, and all the guys were in agreement with it. Like, let's do this. Let's run
Right.
this business like this. Let's conquer this territory. Let's build this structure. Because there may be a need for it. You know what I'm saying? A need for clean water, or a need for an abundance of food or clothing, things like that. And it's now it's taken for granted, because it's just seemed like everything is your fault. Everything is your fault. You did all of this. You're the reason why the world is the way it is. But it's nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? It's just um we we basically build in a different manner than others. You know what I'm saying? And we like building things, and producing things, and like they're just some guys that just enjoy working on cars because it's a car, and you find something new every time. You know what I'm saying? And they like the investigation of it. You know what I'm saying? And then it came a point to, some guy probably thought, I wonder if we can fly like birds. Then all of a sudden you got somebody testing out airplanes, building airplanes, just by the thought of, I want to fly in the air. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to end up like Icarus, and fly too far in the sun, and then my wax wings melt. But I want to be able to fly. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? But it took a lot of trial and error. Okay, I got to redo my planning. Maybe put a little bit more wingspan in on the plane and whatnot. But it's gonna fly. Something like that.
And what one thing that you said, are you frozen or you still moving? You still talking? I'm sorry.
No, I'm not talking.
Oh, okay.
You good?
Well, but one thing you said, and I'm gonna ask you this though, when you say, some people might blame the man for the world, the way that the world is, and it's not necessarily his fault. My question is it not his fault? I mean, is he not to blame?
I ain't said it is. I ain't said it. I mean, it can be. Well, yeah. It's like that. It's like that. It's like that saying. How, how it go? What evil things happen when good men do nothing. Something like that. Something like that. you know, if you don't, stand up for anything or stand for something, yeah, bad things happen because it is your fault because you did not do anything to prevent it. You know what I'm saying? But let it be. I guess I'm saying under the context of somebody's blaming you and you had they blaming you for everything you didn't do nothing. But I didn't do that. And they just say whatever, it's your fault. Something like that. But when you do have a responsibility and duty that you do not take up, then yeah, that is your fault.
So so let's look at it in this sense. So then whose fault was it when Eve went wayward and started to cause all of this ruckus because she went to listen to the serpent? Was it her fault or was it Adam's fault?
Oh, we already know it was Adam's fault.
So then when you say, you can't be blamed, he got to take that responsibility as being.
But that goes for responsibility because he was already given a responsibility. He was already given the responsibility by Yah. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, and he failed.
Is
that not what some dudes don't want to lose access to the vajayjay? So
some dudes don't want to use access to the. But who did he blame though? Who did he blame though? Look at who he blamed. I said, look at who he blamed. He was like, "Oh, she ate of it, but I didn't." Like a little kid.
So what I'm saying. So then ultimately, it's his fault though. Like,
yeah.
So the way that if because I mean, we can say how did this person get in the gate, but ultimately, who left the gate open? My man left the gate open and didn't want to be the heavy and be like, hold on now, being the master of the homestead of giving them that light and that knowledge, which even I think even here, where is it? It says even chiefs giving knowledge to your family is an act of nurturing. You are providing nourishment, which is properly picked via nurturing or naturing in a tailored way. Like he didn't step up and pour into it and be like, yo, that's not what we do. We're not doing this. You can poke your lip out, you can get mad, you can say, I'm not getting none for the next 2 strongs, whatever the case may be. It is what it is. But this is the job that you hired me for. Like, this is the job that I'm sent to do. Master of the homestead is mean I got to protect spiritually, physically, mentally. Like, I got to make sure that everything that is given and disseminated to the family is real. And if it's not, well, then I'm slacking on my JO. Why do you think some dudes just pull back though? Like, I don't want to shake the boat. I don't want to make anybody upset.
I would say they're probably afraid of response. What the response might be. Like you said, brothers, they don't want to let go of the JJ. So they don't want to rock the boat. You know what I'm saying? Because it's or it could be fearful. They're fearful of the so-called, I guess they fearful of the judgment that comes with it as well. So it's better to, or they may see like it's better to not say anything, and just go along to get along, and not really have a stance or perspective on anything, just be a cog in the machine, you know, or just a regular drone, you know, a regular old worker bee, or, you know, a worker ant, you know.
You see now, well, hold on. I'm reading what Chief just said. That was Eve's fault. Ultimately, she does have to be accountable. Adoma was admonished for hearkening to the woman first. The ground was cursed as a result, not him. Now, now this is what I would say. You tell me, Brother Low. Now, this is what I'm going with. Now, ultimately, I'm saying it was it was his fault, right? Now she needed to be accountable for her actions. She knew she wasn't. She knew good and goddamn well she wasn't supposed to do that. How much? I guess what I'm asking is how much would be the responsible of him? Like, okay, if you sent me one, then I can't get another one. Meaning, like so many dudes get stuck on just thinking that they got to till this earth because I have to figure out this earth, as opposed to if you sent me this one, I'll just get another one. Or as my dad, I get another. Like, why did it get so stuck on this one that's not acting right? Like, if you ain't gonna act right, you don't want to listen, and you don't want to say, okay, and know your role and play your position. Well, then now you gotta go. You gotta go, because all of this is just gonna start trickling down to the children, and then they're just gonna be lost to the world. And then, like, what that do? You just create nice little worldians that just act any kind of way, and then everybody else has to deal with it, I guess.
Well, it goes with that saying, you know, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't, and
Right.
so it's cheaper to keep her. It's cheaper. It's really like that, and it probably also goes with the fear of the unknown. Yeah, you could get yourself another one, but you don't know if that one's gonna work out. At least you know this chick and her problems. Baby, you can change her. Baby, you can change her. You know, but um some guys are fearful of that. You know, if I let this one go, shoot, ain't no telling when the next time I'm gonna get some box again. I had to think about it. You know, so I can't mess this up. You know, I can't mess up my resource. You know, where I'm getting it from. You know, I may not have a backup. You know, I may just have this one. You know,
Right.
and I can't mess this up. Ain't no telling what's gonna happen again. You know, it's cold out here in these lonely streets. You know, things like that. You know, it like I say, gang of reasons, but that usually is ultimately, you know, the reason. You know, it's best to stick with the one you know than the one you don't, because there's probably even if it's madness, at least that person you can say is consistent. You know, at least they consistent in their madness or their insanity. But that's insane as well. So I mean, hey, it's all dysfunctional. And at the end, at the end of the day, it's all dysfunctional. But you know, some guys may not want to suffer. You know, they may not want to suffer or you know, do what it takes to hunt, because you may, you know, in hunting you may not get the deer all the time. You know, it may run away. And then you got to stay out there a little bit longer. You know what I'm saying? You have to be patient. Some guys are not patient. You know what I'm saying? They may not be patient for the next game to come by. You know, even if it may be better for them, they may say, "Oh, well, shoot, I may have to stick with this one because you know, things may be looking up on you know, on the up and up. If I just hold on, hold on to, you know, his unchanging hands, it's gonna get right. It's gonna get right. It's gonna get better." You know.
You know, and what you just said was, is it, can one, when you just said like it's cheaper to keep her, and now one not wanting to lose maybe material possessions, right? Is that not, can one experience love and connection when not wanting to actually let go of material possessions and saying, okay, well then I'm just going to do this because I don't want to lose the rest of this stuff. So can one actually experience that in the moment when knowing that they're operating from a fear and deficit model of not operating from an abundance being connected to the one?
I would say it does, because you're not working on a so-called, well, you're working on a dependability. You know what I'm saying? You're dependent on this. You know what I'm saying? But if it leaves, then what are you left with? And that could be a psychological breakdown, because you were so dependent on it. You know, like I remember, like when Chief was talking about one time on an archive show, how, you know, how divorce affects guys differently. It's like losing a family member. You know, when it could be that, you know, that person was so dependent on that one person. Now that person's not there anymore, and now you're just mourning the loss, like you just lost a family member. It's so I don't know. When he said that, it made me think of my own dad, and that's what it sort of felt like he just mourned the loss. You know. So because he was probably too dependent on it, you know, and that's what it is. You could probably be too dependent on something, and probably put too much value on something like that. But if it's gone, then what are you left with? You know what I'm saying? And then, like I say, it could probably drive you insane, or bring your self-esteem low. You know, that it could be a traumatic event, you know, for that person. You know, you never know. But I mean, it could be one of those things. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay. All right. Let me look at the chat. We got Abba Utu said Adam's fault because he didn't teach her about the serpent. Did Adam get lazy? Did he get lazy? Did he get lazy, brother? Low? Or, you know, did he just get fed up? This is an argumentative. This is
There's not.
I
I'm gonna give you one of them smart answers. There's not enough circumstantial evidence to say whether he did or whether he did. All we know is that he went off somewhere and allowed this to happen. Now, you don't know what went through his mind at the time, you know, or whatever. So I can't say whether he got lazy or not, because there's not enough evidence. But if he did, it's his fault. You know, because we just had that one interaction. We don't know what type of relationship build those two people had. You know what I'm saying? If they had one at all, you know. So it's like I said, that's a little bit, I would say, subjective, but you don't know. You don't know. I can't look. I need some more details. I need some more details.
All right. So we got Brother Ramon, who said, nah, he wasn't lazy, he was stupid, having mastery of the serpent because he named the serpent. Y'all gave him the ability to name something one being begin to master. Right? Yeah, right. All right. All right. And we'll do one more and then we'll go on. She says Adoma was a generation of people, not just one person. The fall referenced destructive mindset wherein many people at that time, multiple men, didn't have their women in check and fell from grace. So hold your own cojones. Like, stop being a punk, man. Like, let me it's like saying, quit being a punk. You sit there and you see everybody falling, you see everybody struggling and running around like a chicken with their head cut off. You're gonna go tuck your tail behind some bushes and not say anything for fear from losing access to something, or fear from not wanting to get man up. Like, man up, man up. Good grief. All right. What's you wanna? Oh, we got Abu Haru in here. Peace, Abu Haru. And I seen you earlier. Emma Precious, peace. Emma Arlene, peace. I think I got everybody in there. Yeah. All right. And then Abu Haru says, from that model, it's cheaper to keep her. Many households have fallen short and broken down to what we have today. Yeah. Chief says, we could say all those things happened because Adoma was, I like saying that, Adoma was a whole group of people. This fall, oh, wait, I already read it. Didn't I read that? Represented how our forefathers, our forefathers and foremothers fell to the addition to human sensuality, woman. All right. Yeah. But again, and I think that even goes back to a comment Chief has said earlier. Where is it? Of learning from the past, present, and future. Is somewhere in here. Bang. The master has to intimately be aware of the past, present, and future. Like, you're going to be aware of what has happened because ultimately your history is going to provide you your coping mechanism. This is what we do. This is what we don't do. And if you still are not going to sit down and take the time to, they love to drink, they love to smoke, they love to party. How many people love to study? How many people love to sit down and make sure I have to protect this family and make sure that now, in order for us to move to a certain position, I got to know how the enemy is attacking. I got to know how all of these pieces move on this chessboard, and then I got to know how the other team is trying to attack my team to make sure I put everybody in the proper position so we can win. And the only way that that's going to happen is if somebody is going to start to study and be aware of the past, the present, and looking forward to the future of every member of the homestead. He studies patterns, but come on, Chief. Spirit, cause and effect, and is tapped into psychic foresight, man. I mean, at some point, and a lot of that, and a lot of times, men like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this. Man, you get around. That's what goes back to your air lights. So now you start bouncing ideas off each other and learning from those who are further along the path. So one doesn't have to now start to make the same old mistake over and over again. The whole thing is to make new mistakes, and the only way that one can make new mistakes is learning from those who are further along, learning from what the fail happened before, so that one can start to move forward and actually cover their family physically, mentally, spiritually, instead of just trying to always be like, well, we just figured it out. It'd be all right. Or we just gonna let the chips fall where they may. No, like, man, come on, man, stand up. Anyway. Go ahead. Did you have anything, Akilo, or you?
Yeah. I think it also goes to with how important it is to be a person of memory, because you have to be aware of past, present, and future, and by doing that and observation, and you are very observant of people and their patterns, you are able to, tap into that foresight. You know what I'm saying? And it's not about, being of emotion and just sticking into the present. You sort of watch, observe people, and even observe your kids, and see the type of mannerisms that they have, and by that you can sort of get a foresight on the type of person they're going to be, and probably what you need to teach them the most. And then like or you can okay, this person comes from me. What was the problem that we all have? Like for me, one thing I think of that sort of thinks about past, present, future. I think I said this one time. To always have have furniture with no sharp ends. Reason why is because it seems like my family, me and my siblings, we all got scars above our heads. And why do we have scars above our heads? Because we hit our heads on sharp tables and objects and things like that. So I've already had that force. I'm like, no sharp ends, no pointy end furniture. Let it all be round, because we big heads and we hit our head on things and we end up getting these daggone scars and stuff. And it seems like it trickles down to generationally. It's like, man, all of us got scars above our eyes. What is up with that? I guess nobody had the force to say, okay, just put a bunch of round circular furniture around, so they like to run and hit their head on things. So in order to keep people safe, get some round furniture, no pointy objects. So that goes into it, what I'm saying? Something like that, I would say. But hey, some people don't look at that, or they just look at their children as individuals, and they don't see them as a continuation of where that line could go. Because you have to look at it, maybe 3, 4, 5 generations ahead. So you have to have that psychic foresight to see where you want the line to go. You know what I'm saying? And you have to look at the past, you have to look at the present, and then you have to look at the future. What did my ancestors lack or had, and see what I need to take and what I need to let go of. And then what do I have that I need to give to my children and my grandchildren and my descendants, and what do they not need to take from me that would be a detriment to the bloodline. I'll say it like that.
And I think that even goes back to what the show that Chief did on the power of silence again, and the difference between one being quiet and one being silent. And when one being quiet, even though their mouth is not moving, ultimately they still have this internal dialogue and this internal chatter that is always just going off. Where now all of a sudden dudes start to become hyper defensive and super emotional, feeling like I gotta say something, as opposed to now just having the power of silence, where you're now having that external noise dialed down, and then that internal noise dialed down. Now one can have that psychic foresight where they're able to see things that's going on around them, as opposed to always just being so emotional or having these physical attachments and not wanting to let things go again, and then really just tapping into the needs of whatever, making sure everybody is good. I think it even goes back to that reference that Chief has said before, being the son of that solar system and being there, and everybody is there to serve, but ultimately that son is the biggest servant. And for one to be the biggest servant, it has to know, okay, how much light am I supposed to give? When am I giving too much light so I don't kill the flower or kill what's ever being growing out of the soil? When to pull back, when to say, nah, you know what? Don't go in this direction because there's danger down in that direction. Or like he told Simba, don't go to that dark area over there, man. We stay over here. All right, that's not what we do. But I thought, ain't no thought, man. I'm telling you, that's not what we do. Stay over here. So I think it's just a matter of dialing down that noise so one now can be silent and starting to tap into all the needs and the wants of their community. So, all right, I see you. Aki Antonio, peace, good brother, in the space. All right, so you want to go on to the next line?
Yep.
Brother Low?
Okay, it says, as he rules over all constituents of his household, the woman rules over the children, home servants, and junior women. That's the sentence. Ready to read both.
So now it's in the sense now we see the tandem of the teamwork, right? So okay, I'm now tapped into everything that's going on around. All right. So this is what we're gonna do. This is almost like the coach sending in the play. All right, so we're gonna run. Let's go. Trips right. Whatever the case may be, and we're gonna throw
formation.
All right, cool. Get the play done. Now that woman is the coach on the field, so she gonna go run. All right, I'm gonna quarterback this thing. I'm gonna put the children over here. At 3 o'clock, they gotta be here. Whatever the case may be, I'm putting y'all over here. But again, I'm making sure that everything is in alignment with the family, with the master of the homestead, making sure that everybody is in their proper space and in their proper place so that they can flourish and they can do the things that they were called to do. And she's gonna be okay. And I'm gonna manage this thing. I'm gonna quarterback this thing to get it done the way it needs to be done. You got anything on that, Brother Lowe?
Oh, well, since you use the football analogy, I was about to say, yeah, I guess the man will be in the box, call the plays, like, we should do through an I formation, slant right, it's like our formation slap. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I would say that is also a big responsibility. But it shows that the woman is more than capable for that type of expansion. You know what I'm saying? And that also shows, as it says, her rulership, and the realm that she rules over, um, and that responsibility of it. I find it very interesting, that she has all of all of that, what I'm saying, and I think that's really that shows a compliment, to what the woman is, what I'm saying, because she's able to manage all of that, what I'm saying, and yay, some women are, that's their boss mentality, what I'm talking about, but that's how I see it, in that retrospect, bro.
So when you see that word junior women, what jumps out at you?
Oh well, that jumps out, that's the other women in the house, but they may not be on the same uh level as the woman of the house is, I you know but they all play a role, but they ain't the they ain't in charge of the girls. You know what I'm talking about? I just say it like that. Who's in charge of the girls? I am in charge of the girls. Okay. I'll put it to you like that. you know. But they ain't in charge of the girls. It's that that woman with the senior ranking that's in charge of the girls. And basically that woman is also, I guess, the glue that keeps all of them in line, not in um a dominating or domineering perspective, but as a uniting factor. You know what I'm saying? I would say it like that, because you know if you historically, if you look at cultures that had harems with rankings among their harems, there always comes a fight, between like the high consort and the noble consort, or the empress and the noble consort. It be crazy. It'd be crazy. One, because the king is not really functioning as his role as the head and master, but you see that the woman that's supposed to be head of the junior women is not functioning in her role as the head and uniting factor of of that harem. You know what I'm saying? And then there's just nothing but chaos and dysfunction and imbalance, and everybody doing what they want to, and everybody fighting each other. It'd be crazy, bro. But yeah, I say it like that.
And I think that even goes back to the order. I mean, even in the sense of like, you've seen whole TV shows are created if there's no order and there's no master of the homestead, and then you just put some women into a room or in a space, and then put a TV camera in there, and you create Bad Girls Club, or you create, you know, Hollywood Housewives, whatever that them shows are. When now there's no order, there's no, nah, this is what we're doing, and then okay, this is, you over the junior women. Well, if ain't, nah, I'm the boss, and then no, I'm the boss. Well, then now all of a sudden, yeah, put the camera on them, and we can all just watch it and for entertainment. Meanwhile, everybody else knows better though that nah, that's not how you can start to even run a family. That's not how you can run a business. That's not how you can run anything. But people just sit back and think, oh yeah, well, you just figure it out. No, you don't just figure that out. But it's just a matter of now, is one willing to put their ego aside, feeling like, no, I need to learn. or I don't know it all. I'm not in that space. I'm not in that position in order for this thing to win. But again, that's just how we roll.
Yeah, or it could be everybody, like let's say so everybody want to be Chiefs, but they ain't enough Indians. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want to be Chiefs, but they don't want to be Indians. You know, everybody want to be a boss, and that may not be what you have to offer. You may not be a boss. You know what I'm saying? You may offer something totally different, but it may be valuable to the family or valuable to the unit. But here you are one a role that you're not suited for. You know, it's 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 egotistical and crazy, but I mean, it goes back to knowing your role and knowing what you came there to do. You know, so yeah.
That's all right. So I see, brother. I don't know if I said brother Antonio, but peace, love, Exy is all. I don't know if I said that wrong. And if I did, my apologies. But peace to you. I don't think I've ever seen that screen name in here, but welcome. And then Chief says part of that was, switch it up. We just flip flop, man. It just part of that was because in some cultures, whichever woman gave birth to sons, after the first son knew her son would probably be murdered. Wasn't that
Ottomans?
Wasn't that in?
That's the Ottoman system. He talking about the Ottoman Turks. He talking about the Ottoman Turks. You know, here we go back. Well, we wonderful system in terms of, but historically, after the sultan of the Ottomans was declared, and all the other brothers had to die. You know what I'm saying? Whether they did something wrong or not, they just had to go. So yeah, so yeah, I totally get where you coming from, but that standpoint, yeah, they had to go.
And but wasn't one of the biggest things in there too was when he married for love, quote unquote, and that was the beginning of the end?
Yeah, when well,
come on, speak on it, now, brother.
we're talking about Suleiman the Great, and he married Roxalana. Yeah, it should be Roxalana, aka Harem. And he did something that all Ottoman soldiers didn't do. He married for love. He married for love, and that became a problem. At least when he died. Because then she started vying for regency and things like that. And it wasn't just her. It was after she, dead and gone, other women started doing it. They saw that she could do it, then other women started wanting to do it. What I'm talking about. So it wasn't just her. She just started off. She started, she got the ball rolling. What I'm saying? But then you see the reign of the sultans after that. And either they got deposed or something, but usually the women stayed in power a little bit longer. You know what I'm saying? Usually they'll put the grandson or something like some or their son in power, and then usually the person that deposed them is the wife of the sultan. Depending on the person that you're talking about. But sometimes, usually, it's always like that. You have like the sultan the sultana of the former sultan. Then she clashing with the present sultana, and then that's where the present sultana got to get rid of the old one. Like, nah, you got to go. But it keeps on going like that in a sense.
That's all right. I'm gonna look at the chat. Master Antonio, everybody want to be the boss until it's time to be the boss. You ain't never lied. I think that's that old saying, heavy is the head that wears the crown. I also saw this saying too, though. It said, if your crown is hurting, then take it off.
It could be crown of thorns,
Hey, Hey, but you know what? That's one of the things though. It keep them beta males in check. Like now, it's like everybody feels like they can run to the podium and they can just say whatever they want to and do all of this, get all this ramped up in a camera. And what's even a lot of that, I think even she spoke about on the thing where people, you know, in that gaming system where even the mind doesn't know what's real from what's fake. So now I can sit and I can kill all of these people. I can do all of these debaucherous things in this video game. And now I can sit behind a screen though and still think that I have this anonymity and then but say any type of thing to any type of person thinking that I don't have to, there's no consequences behind this. And they get this false sense of reality. Now I can put this crown on. I can put this on. Yeah, you can do it in the video game. This ain't no video game. This ain't no, you can't press reset. Like you ain't no, oh yeah, you don't get 15 lives, man. Like you gonna pay for that. You gonna pay for that dearly. But if people knew the consequences of their actions, then a lot of that would just be cleaned up. Like a lot of that was like, nah, you can't do that. It's like when people, used to go to school, you can't go in there talking all crazy because somebody was gonna chin check you. Like, nah, man, back up. But now it's like, oh yeah, participation trophies. Everybody's a winner. You're good at it. You do this. And now I think that even starts to now go to roles of families where now dudes don't stand up, but nobody knows what their place, because nobody can tell them what your place is, because now you're a winner and you're a winner and you're a winner. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. That crown hurts. That's because you didn't earn it. You didn't earn it. And take it off. Take it off, man. You just, nah. Anyway, all right. I got Abba Utu says, if there is a debate about the women's role in the homestead, there's a severe breakdown in communication. Yeah, or just get rid of it, man. Sometimes if somebody don't want to listen and they ain't getting it, you gotta go. Like I'm not gonna sit up here and start arguing with your flat behind face, homegirl. No, that was but you gotta go, man. All right, so Chief says countries aren't ran successfully without patriarchal headship. It's only mentally damaged people who dream of these egalitarian societies headed by bearded women and zesty males. That was even in The Walking Dead. Did you see that when they had this whole society where this just was nothing but women? And they would be like, oh yeah, they just over here thriving. Like, dude, like,
bro, I quit watching Walking Dead once. What was his name? What was it? Tyro, the strong black, the strong belly dominant man. When they killed them all, I was like, this, I'm done. So I don't know what you talking about, but go ahead.
Right. I mean, even in those movies where they got, G.I. Jane and all of these, where this 105-pound female is now just handling dudes. I'm talking about 220 pounds up there just giving rights and lefts, and you like, oh yeah, now all of a sudden again the mind doesn't know what's real from what's fake. So now you take on these things thinking that, oh yeah, I can do this, and then no. No.
Yeah,
you're gonna get hurt. You're just gonna get yourself hurt.
You gonna get mollywopped. That's what's gonna happen. But I mean, that's not. It's not saying that there wasn't any martial women or warrior women, but the context is they fought to their strengths, as I would say, as women. You know what I'm saying? They weren't. It wasn't a masculinized blow for blow. I'm 5'5" and I'm facing somebody 6'2", 250 pounds, and but I'm a woman and I can do it too. It ain't even about that. It goes back to playing, knowing your role is. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with like what has interested me more. Maybe I thought about this. Like, what if if you want to do a warrior woman thing? What if you had this warrior woman sniper? They're far away from the battlefield, but they can pick off anything. They got good eyes. Something like that. But hey, what woman you know want to be in the wilderness, where bugs and bears and lions and stuff, can come out and get them. That's another thing. They too cute for that. they don't, they don't want all that. They don't want the rough and tumble of the forest and the wilderness. But yeah, you have these shows. It's like, yeah, we can do it just as just as good as men. And it's not about that, because ultimately, if you ever seen battles and war, it's gruesome, and it's gory, and it's bloody, and you see things you wish you had never seen before in your life. And it stays with you to the day you die. Man. It stays with you forever, and you probably will never get over it. And if you ever been around guys that's actually been in war, and they don't even tell you the gruesome stories that they've been through. I remember when she talked about warriors, and how he observed how they rock back and forth. They rock back and forth. You know what I'm saying? Because they've been through something. You know what I'm talking about? And but here you have a society that tries to big up, women warriors, but you don't, they can hit, but you never see them get hit, or you never see them die horrible deaths, or get a limb chopped off. You know what I'm saying? Or have they have they have their guts spill out. Something that is horribly gory and messed up. But you see that happen to guys all the time. And we know that it happens. But it comes with the price. You know what I'm saying? Of warriorship. That we accept. And but then you have a society that's like, oh, we're girls, we're women, we can do anything. But when it comes to sacrifice, or you always have a story of a guy that says, hey, I'm a sacrifice myself so the rest can get away. You ever see a woman do that? Hey, y'all go ahead. Tell my children I love them. Something like that. You see a guy doing that, going down the blaze of glory. You'll never see a woman do that. Bringing up the rib like, hey, y'all go ahead. I'm gonna take care of them. No, you don't see that. They fight, and then when some bad goes, women and children first. First ones to go. Whatever. It's like, but you see, the importance of warriorship, and why it's patriarchal. Because there's things that happen, and things that we as men accept that women don't want to accept. Can you take a punch? Do you really want to take a punch? Do you really want to take a stab to the belly? You know what I'm saying? Or step on a landmine and get your foot blown off. You don't want to go through that. Stay in the house where it's safe. You know what I'm saying? Well, you don't have to worry about that. But if you really want to go out there, that means that you have accepting the consequences that come with that type of duty. You know what I'm saying? And if you in clear conscience have done that, then okay, I guess. But the whole, what you see on TV, don't let that fool you. Don't let that fool you all. If you ain't never seen it, no, it ain't what you think. It ain't what you think. That's just special effects and CG. When you actually have to smell rotting flesh and things like that, and see pools of blood. It ain't nothing to glorify about it. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing to glorify about it, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
How much of that though would you start to even say goes back to the Willie Lynch-ism? Where it's like you beat the dude, an inch, quarter inch of his life, but make sure you do it in front of everybody. But then you put her out front. Like, how much of that would you say is modern day Willie Lynchism, where I'm gonna put her out front and I'm gonna show her all of these different things, but ultimately making sure that I put him behind, or just being like a Dr. Huxtable or something like that, where you just laughing and goofy and all crazy, not really making any decisions, but she's clear minded and putting her stuff like, this is how we're gonna run this, and da 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 da, and he like, oh, the Jello pudding, like. Is that, would you say that could be modern day Willie Lynchism?
Yeah, it totally can, bro. I mean, it just psychologically, it's one damaging, to one, put the female out in front where she can be hurt or harmed in anything, but then then she'll go back and say she's unprotected, but you get put in the front, what I'm saying, you get put in the vanguard or whatever, you sign up for the job, and but then when stones are hurled at you, and you get hit, you want to say, I'm unprotected, and it is psychologically damaging to the guy, because he basically is bringing about the stereotype of his utility or subservience, and all that calls for division, because there's no one, you having somebody else telling you your role and where you are to be in that role, and it's not the melanin rich man or woman, it's somebody else that ain't even the same hue as you, and it's somebody else that doesn't even, not even in the same culture. And so, because you didn't define the role and the position yourself, you are subject to whatever happens and the destabilization of your family unit. So yeah, that is modern Willie Lynchism, because if you have children and your children see that, then that warrants their mistreatment of you, because they see you playing that role, you know what I'm saying? And you're not gonna garnish any respect from them because of that. You know what I'm saying? I remember, she's saying punchy bags, deserve to be punched, And if you look like a dang on punchy bag, hey, somebody gonna punch you, you know what I'm saying? So, you Clear House Cosby, you have to be mindful of that and not take that. You have to realize, all of that was designed for you to not win the race, or for you to not be unified, because a unified family is a very powerful thing. A unified community is a very powerful thing. And if I'm your enemy and I can destabilize that, then I can also basically ensure my dominance, not only with you, but also my dominance or my children's dominance among your children, or your children's children,
And then you constantly in a state of just chasing your tail. And I think that even goes back to, again, master of the homestead is charged with protecting the spiritual, physical, mental, and overall well-being. I mean, it just comes back full circle. We're going to go ahead and look at the chat a little bit. Chief says, warrior women are not the same as civilization builders. Devils create false narratives of pride for women. When we correct it, we are misogynist. The truth doesn't take away from a woman's power. And I think that's Like anytime you begin to say something to correct the craziness and that is going on, now all of a sudden it's these buzzwords that's supposed to shut a conversation down. Oh, you're misogynistic. Oh, you're oppressive. Or you're, one of these words that you start to say, oh, okay, well, if you're not grounded and rooted in who and what you are, and somebody starts to throw one of those little buzzwords, then you're gonna back down. You're like, oh, no, well, no, that's not what I mean by that. What I'm trying to say is, nah, that's what I meant by that, and I know that doesn't work. Again, now being well studied of knowing the past, present, and the future, and being able to tap into that and saying, having some foresight, saying that I can't let this go on, man. So I'm saying that's what this is, and that's what it is now. Either you get down, or you lay down, or move the F around for me. So that's just how it gets down. Master Antonio, and jump in anytime you want to, Akilo. I'm just gonna keep riding. Zuko's girlfriend, Mai, I don't know how to say that. From Avatar.
It's Mai. It's Mai.
Oh, like Mai.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. Her girlfriend, Mai, from Avatar, The Last Airbender, came to mind with the sniper example, Akilo, quietly picking them off from a distance. Anything like that happening in a movie counts as promoting violence against women. Yeah, you can do anything, including dying horrible deaths. And Chief says, notice none of these women warriors are missing eyes, teeth, are missing limbs, or even mutilated in some way. It's insanity. Heck, we are trained to feel more sorry for women left behind during wartime than the men going off to war. Like, you about to die. Like, I swear to goodness, you're going to put your life on the line. And you're like, man, this person may not return. But then all of a sudden, you're like, yeah, but, there goes that but. You go from the crown back to your A, double dollar signs. And it's like, but what about all of them? Oh my goodness, they're just so lonely. And somebody's now training you how to feel like to be a robot. Again, you should be mad at this. You should be happy with this. You should be upset with this. All right, now you can go dormant, go sleep. And everybody just moves to that rhythm instead of saying, hold on, man. This rhythm is ultimately just leading everybody to a slaughterhouse. It's just leading the whole family. Like you said, this, families rise up. When individuals just don't stand up and they overtake anything, I think if we learn from past experience is individuals are not going to take you anywhere. Like that person can get picked off, and then all of a sudden everybody just goes back to doing what they're doing. Each person has to now, if you're in the boat, you got to pick up part of that stick and you got to start rowing. You got to start putting that work in. And if you ain't putting that work in, well, then now it's history is doomed to repeat itself because one is not learning from it. And if you don't learn from it, you're doomed to repeat it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would say that. Like she was saying, man, I mean, we do that. I mean, because by me, being into war, and a lot of guys are into war and warriorship and military things, and if you ever seen, old pictures of just long lines of mass graves and dead men, it's not pretty. It's not pretty. And man, if you ever study, war battles and see the casualty rate, what I'm saying? Gettysburg, Antietam, what I'm saying? Things like that, 100,000, over 100,000 men die in one battle. What I'm saying? 500,000 die in one battle. That is a valuable resource there. And nobody like laments that and say, okay, we need these guys for things, but when but we treat them as if they are expendable, and and they're not worth anything. What I'm saying? But you never see women, missing, like you say, never see women missing both their legs in a wheelchair or losing an eye. What I'm saying? Like, I always, be person. I always thought, the dude that was, got the eye patch on, I was like, hey, that's the warrior right there. He cool, Like one of my favorite warriors in like the Japan War and States period. It's called the One-Eyed Dragon because he was missing an eye. And Masamune Date, and he was this hard dude, missing an eye that he lost when he was a kid. But hey, didn't nobody want to mess with him. Didn't nobody want to mess with him, and he had a cool name, the One-Eyed Dragon. I thought it was cool. He cool. They called him the One-Eyed Dragon. But I would say it's insulting, when we just see men as dependable. There was like this sci-fi show. I always say something about Babylon 5, but there was like this episode where there was this alien race called the Hayek, and that was the female side of the race, and the male side was called the Hayek too. And the females was coming to Babylon 5, this UN space station, because they wanted them to retrieve the last of the Hayek though, which was the male, the male equivalent of their race. And then he ends up dying, and while on transit. And then he was the last. What are we gonna do? we hunted these guys because they hunted them. They warred with them, and they hunted them to extinction. and now now they need to rely on the last one, and he ends up dying in transit. And it was like, we're doomed as a race now. We should have never started that war with them, and whatnot. And it's just sad, that one, we're always pinning. It's always in times we're pinning. It's men against women, and it shouldn't even be about that. It should be us versus everybody else. I'm talking about. It's not about men versus women. That's stupid. That's crazy. And that's dysfunctional. It's never about that. But I also, when it comes to women warriorship, I also like the analogy that Chief always used. How Hannibal was one of the first one to use elephants. It was the African empresses. What I'm saying? And I thought, man, how cool would it be if women could actually trade animals like lions and tigers and bears or whatever to go out there and fight? That would be cool. That's women warriorship. Baloo, sickle, something like that, but you don't get that. They got to be on the front lines and stuff. And look, they got so much plot armor, as we say, they got so much plot armor. They don't miss no limbs. They don't get hit. They're not flying, across the room. If they are, it's the best of violence and foul play. If you're in a fight, there's no such thing as fair, But it is what it is. It is what it is.
All right, we got Emma Arlene here. Says, "Peace, Emma. When they started sending women to the battlefront, most of them had mental breakdowns. I mean, it's just a matter of pointing out. It's the people that just like what you said, just speaking up and saying, hold on, man, that didn't happen like that. Like, hey, this is what happened when you send that and this happens. No. I mean, if you just take it from the simple sense, I've seen when there's a lot going on, like women trying to carry groceries on the phone and then talking to a child and then just start crying. Like, it's just so much. Like, I can't deal with it. Hold on. All right, this is what we're going to do. Relax. But now you said you want me to now believe that this somehow, just like in this one, she says, even in shows where you have females with swords running through platoon, that's what you want me to believe now? That's what you want me to? I mean, I'm looking at something, you telling me something totally different and never getting cut. I've seen people cut, stabbed up close with knives and glass bottles. It's ugly. It's nasty when you get into a fight. There ain't no rules in a fight. It's by any means necessary. And now all of a sudden, this is what you want to show me, as if, oh yeah, it's some glory in this. If I actually pick up and do what this guy's doing, I'll do what men do. And now all of a sudden, there's no order and there's no roles in families, and everybody can just do what they want to do. Okay, okay, gonna have to learn the hard way. All right, Master Antonio says, or if they do get cut, it's that little cute scar above the right cheek with a little dribble of blood. Just, oh, oh. Chief says women are very violent and can be far more vicious than men. The warrior women of Ethiopia prove that, but I promise the PTSD is real. I always liked how Hunger Games highlighted that with Katniss.
Katniss, yeah, Katniss everything in the movie. You know, she would have bad dreams and stuff. But yeah, man, that movie was cool. But yeah, the PTSD is real because, like I say, you never get over it. You know, you're never the same after that. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, so we talk about movies like well, TV show like in Chief would know in Peaky Blinders when Michael kills his first dude and he goes over to his mother. Chief, I know you know, and he just gives that fake smile, but you see that his eyes are like hollow, like he ain't cool no more after that. You know, Michael was such a sweet boy, you know, came from a good family, but then you know he got into the life and then he just gives off that fake smile, like he's okay, but you realize he ain't. You know, once he done, you know, did his first, you know, made his bones. You know what I'm saying? He's not fine after that. You know, he don't even look fine. You know, but yeah, man, it's not pretty. It's not pretty or something that you don't glorify. You know, if they did, man, it wouldn't sell so good like it do. You know, and like when you talked about video games, shoot, one of the two of the franchises video games that's like that is Call of Duty and Battlefield. You know what I'm saying? You got, you know, kids and grown people playing it like, you know, shooting people, picking people off like it's fun, and that's what you do. But it ain't like that. It's not like that. You know, when you actually got bullets wheezing, you know, over your body and things like that, or you hear mortar rounds and grenades and stuff. It's not fun. It's not pretty. You know, it's none of those things. You know, your adrenaline's running and you know, really just paranoid. You know, in a sense. So yeah, man. Yeah, it's not what it's popularized, you know, to be. It's not what it's popularized to be.
What do you, even in that video game, I think where they now even got dancers. Like they got certain dances that they all be doing before they go out there.
You talking about Fortnite?
Come on, man. Like, what is this? But you just pulling people in with that. Like you pulling people in and you thinking it's all cool and all of this. You glorify, yeah, my person got the moves. Don't they go out to fight?
Huh?
Don't they go to fighting
that? Usually, you know, when they do the dance, I never played Fortnite, but usually, but my nephew, but my nephew do. Usually, they'll probably use the dance. Like if they kill somebody, it's usually that's when they start doing the dance. Like I got you. You know what I'm talking about?
But that's what I'm saying. Glorifying something like, oh yeah, so let me see if we can get the best. But nah, man, killing this, and I think that old thing that I think I've heard Scarface say, I never seen a man cry until I seen a man die. And what you said, even in that Pinky Blind, that's gonna change you. Like that, when you see somebody and they take their last breath and knowing that it was at the hands that you did it, that's gonna change you, man, forever. Like you ain't, there's no going back. And you may see that in your sleep. You may see that just at the store, whatever the case may be. That might always just pass through your mind. That's why sometimes you see people and it's a blank stare and it's like nothing is there. Now, it's just cold. there's nothing pretty or glorified about that. When one starts to now try to bring that back into roles of family and trying to put somebody else in the front and somebody else, oh yeah, anybody can do it. Okay. We got brother Vermont says, yeah, it reminds me of a show I watched called Black Lightning. It was such an illusion and embarrassment of what a melanated family looks like, but hey, they gave them powers. Yeah, even when something is innocuous, man, and they just putting people to sleep. True, brother Antonio, they never got a boob seared off or a butt cheek pierced. I've seen female cops knocked out and their guns taken. That's a sad realization of proper roles despite ability. That even makes me think of, you seen that No Blade of Grass? Like that one was almost like a proper representation of what happens when there's total anarchy. And now it's like, you better cleave to the strongest man you can find. Because they was just literally, they were, okay, I'm just going to rape this chick. I'm just going to take this one. Now it's like, the only way that you can start to work your way up is selling that Hot Pocket. And if you ain't got the Hot Pocket, you ain't got something somebody want, get down and lay down. It ain't none of this looking cute, none of this, oh yeah, I'm going to pick up a sword and I'm going to start swinging it. Nah. You better get your mind right, because it's a nasty, dirty, cruel world.
Yeah,
but again,
it reminds me
of to sleep with this video game mentality.
Yeah, it reminds me of Mongols. You know what I'm talking about? Reminds me of the Mongols. Hey, they used to take chicks, man. They used to steal wives and whatever. Shoot, even Genghis Khan got his wife took. You know, he got his wife took. He got her back. It took a minute to get her back, but he got his wife took. You know what I'm saying? You know, but you know, hey, you know, when you among, you know, that wild state, hey, anything goes, and you better be of the tribe or something. Otherwise, hey, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's, you know, but yeah, man, it does happen. You know, when there's a dystopian environment, hey, you know, only the strong survive, man, and that's what happens. And the laws and statutes that protected you in your once now dead culture ain't the rules no more. Now it's whatever we say it is, and I can do whatever I want to you. I you know, I ain't playing fair no more. I'm wild. So, you know, act accordingly. Get covered. You know what I'm talking about?
But I think what you just said is important of only the strong survive. It's like, but mentally strong. Because I've seen people just break down because they're not thinking that I got these muscles or I got all of this and that I'm going to just use brute strength. And only the strongest person who can lift the most is going to be in the dominant position. No. The person who has studied the most, the person who knows now, this is how you're going to start to move these chess pieces on the board in order to put people in the strongest position to win as a unit is going to win. Not the person who just thinks that they can bench press 315 pounds 20 times, do all of the yelling and hollering in the gym, and then getting up, smacking their chest and all of that little, no, that ain't going to get it done, partner. That's not going to get it done.
Yeah, but the race is not given to the weak nor to the strong, but to the one that endures.
Come on.
Until the end.
Come on, Prophet. Prophet Low.
I ain't no prophet, okay.
All right. Abu says, this is beautiful. I see math all in this breakdown of Master and his role, Supreme Alphabet number 13. M, Master. She says those who operate individualism are soulless. She said, yeah, guy who lost an eye with the eye patch could have lost it in a paperclip fight when he was at Sergeant Agnes School for Wayward Boys. Antonio says, if I see one-eyed dragon on your resume, I'm calling you first. She said, one-eyed dragon could be his porno name. You better scan it.
Oh, bro. Oh man. Oh,
Oh man. All right. Oh, he said it's usually Moors on the front lines that war chores come back to job opening doors and mopping floors. Bars off 85. Boars. Boars. All right. Master Antonio said, I said called, not hired. That's not first thing I'm asking about.
I can see. Hey, that's
Oh man. Yep, she said, yep, pesky freaking blinders. I remember that kill. Michael was supposed to be the family accountant, but it was in the blood. Esther Antonio says, yeah, that was showing the little boy face to the mama, even though she could see the change. Peeking. It's usually a victory dance. Sister Deetra pays. OMG, I didn't realize Fortnite was a fighting game. All that dancing, I thought it was just something silly like Minecraft. I don't know.
No, it's pow pow, pew pew, gun gun. You know, basically what they do is okay. You shoot people. Basically, okay. At the start of the game, you parachute down. You rappel down, parachute down, like you in airborne. You know, like you're an airborne ranger. And then you look around because it's a big world. You know, you look around, you know, you get resources, you know, and guns and stuff. And then what they do is you're able to build things, you know, like you chop down a tree or something, and then that counts as resources. Then you're able to build stairs and walls and stuff where you can, you know, be a sniper or something and things like that. It's very confusing in a sense, but you can do that. You know, but then you're picking up people and they trying to kill you, you trying to kill them, you know what I'm saying? And they even give you not only dances, but like I think what cute, cool things that you could like parachute down with, like a paper airplane or something, some crazy, something you gotta buy, you know, microtransactions. But yeah, it's not it's nothing. It's not a fighting game. It's a shooting game. You know, first person shooter, pow pow, bang bang. You know, no, you think of a fighting game, that's like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter.
This right here, it's a 22. Pew pew pew. Pew pew
Pew pew pew.
Oh man, she said, yeah, my nephew plays that mess too. I tried to get him to play pole position with me, and they looked at me like I was Fred Flintstone or something. Freaking little brat. I don't know what pole position is.
I'm thinking of the wrong pole position. I'm like, we going to the club.
I think you can get one-eyed Buster to come over there and play.
We go to the club, like for real. I told you I was thinking of the wrong pole position.
Master Antonio says Fortnite is a battle royale style shooting game. You get dropped onto a map with other players and you shoot anything that moves or gets shot. Master Aba Utu Genghis Khan, the original Django. The teacher says, true, brothers, the no blade of grass. Oh, yeah. It's a reality that many independent, strong women will fail. Yo. That one right there. I like everybody. She mentioned that in emergency preparedness, that and that's one of the things that he mentioned in that video. And I went to, after that, when I went to watch that, I said, yo, everybody needs to watch this. This is a true interpretation of what's a reality, a harsh reality that many will face when it's time to get down. You better your likes, yeah, you better get around them. Because even like when I think it was the police force or something, when they wasn't getting money anymore and they had all of these guns and stuff, they just started taking from people. Like, I got to look after my own family. And we already a group and a unit, so we just going to unify and just start taking from other people. Like, it's going to be a harsh reality. People have to face that. I mean, and if you look over periods of time, civilizations, I don't care how big it was, Kemet, Rome, you name it, has all failed. So don't think for 1 second or get lulled to sleep thinking that this one won't. Like, I think people think like, oh, the Titanic, it's a ship. It's too big to sink. Is it?
Yeah,
Is it?
man.
Like, this America, this is going to be like this forever. And everything is going to be progressive and we all just leading the charge. Is it? Okay. Oh, okay. It's a nasty, dirty, cruel world out there. And you better start to take the blinders off and see things for what they are and start to move accordingly.
Yes, it's always the barbarians at the gates, man. You know what I'm talking about? It's always the barbarians at the gates, ready to take your stuff and ransack your city. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah.
Yo. Sovereignty says Fortnite is insidious. The dancing eases the trauma of the game. I think normalizing it. Yeah. Master Antonio, they actually have professional gaming tournaments with tens of millions of dollars in cash prizes. Some of these players spend 16 hours a day in front of a screen. Right.
Bruh, League of Legends. That's all I need to say. You know how big League of Legends is? You know, I mean, selling out football stadiums and stuff, you know, and it's global, it's international, and you got big teams playing for the World Cup and whatnot, and in different countries and what. I mean, it's crazy, and people just go crazy over League of Legends. You know what I'm saying? And that's not even like Fortnite. You know, that has more strategy than anything, where you actually got to play as a team. You know what I'm saying? And you got to take up mid and whatnot and whatnot. Then you got to find the right character to play and stuff, and things like that. It takes more strategy, but it's a lot of money for it. But yeah, they have Street Fighter tournaments. I've seen that. They even still got Quake tournaments and stuff, you know, and Diablo and StarCraft and things like that. You know, look, the gaming market is big, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, they take advantage, man. They really do take advantage.
And then I start meeting some of these people who play these games day in and day out. It's just socially awkward. Like, don't know how to interact with people. It's just, yeah, it's just weird. All right. Sister Kashia says, act accordingly, get covered. Sister Deidre says, it's a method of creating more zombies. Yeah. Sovereignty says, no blade of grass really let you see how the deck of hierarchy shuffles. Come on. You better speak on it now. You better speak on it now, sister. KML. What's that mean? Kiss my life?
I forget. I asked one time. I don't know what every acronym means. I used to figure it out along the way, but I can't remember what that acronym is.
Okay. Chief said, whoever provides for the greatest need of the community will be in the dominant every time. Look at Bill Gates. I could maybe take him in a fight, but he is controlling the world health. Right. And the interesting thing is, you're not going to get close to him. Right? Like,
I know.
These most puniest little dudes be like, but I'm running the whole thing, man. From this, it's like you better see things for what they are.
It's revenge of the nerds, like he used to say. Like Chief used to say,
right.
Revenge of the nerds.
Right. True brother Utu, many of those brothers who came back from those wars came home and established what later became gangs and crews. Interesting Toda for the light tonight. There you go. Sovereign Eat says it's a chopper. There you go. I know what you're talking about, Sovereign Eats. I know what you're talking about.
Man, that day, man. But this thing, if you ever shot a chopper before, that kickback.
Yeah.
That kickback. You know.
It's gun holding sideways, Brother Low. I can't do it like they do in the movie.
Yeah, you know, you pain, you know, you hold it sideways. That ain't how you hold no dang on gun, you know, because you also got to think about, you know, if you hold your gun like that, you have to think about shell extraction and if it could possibly jam up your slide. If you hold your gun like that and it's not properly and the shell's not properly extracted, it could go back in and jam up your slide. So you want to properly hold your weapon. That's why you hold it straight. You don't hold it like this, and then shells are hot. You hold it like that. It may bounce off your hand. You be like, something like that. You never know. Because like you don't know where your shell gonna extract and where it can bounce off to. That's the only reason why I would say that. Don't hold your gun like that. You hold it properly. What I'm saying? There's a reason why it was made like that. But yeah, holding it to the side, trying to be cool, man. F all that. Just
I shot an AK. Just what you said. I shot an AK once, and the shell went in my shirt. Like,
see,
that joker burned.
It burns. Yeah,
and then
it burned,
like
bro.
I had the gun, and I was like trying to get the shell out of me, so I start waving the thing to get it off.
Hey, you supposed to keep. Hey, you messing up, brother Zach. You put it down first. Keep your weapon down range, okay? Keep it pointed down range. Don't flag nobody. Keep it down range. Like they say, if you have a misfire, you still point your weapon down range. You don't look at the barrel or anything like that because you don't know what it's liable to shoot out at you. So keep your weapon down range and do proper malfunction steps, and whatnot. But yeah, don't be doing all of that. You end up injuring yourself.
Right.
And injuring others.
Come over here messing with these nice people, man. Get my stuff and go. She said, "True master told me what Fortnite sounds like for the night to me. Let's pretend we're together just for the night."
Fortnite just sounds like Fortnite 2 weeks. I'm thinking of Shakespeare, but I do understand what he means.
She says, "Man, pole position came out in 1982. That wasn't that long ago. I used to spend my quarters on that while Planet Rock and the massage would blast. The message would blast from my cousin's radio. Good times, man. Good times."
Yes,
I still
never
don't know
played
what
that.
pole position is.
I don't know what it is.
I don't know.
I thought it was a strip club too, brother. Tell you all right. That's what I say. Pole position.
Hey, I know Kaboom. I know Atari. I know Kaboom. I know like that chicken crossing the road. That's about as vast as mine would go from an old game system. Other than that, I'm out.
Well, I know Centipede. I know Centipede.
Right, that was on Atari, wasn't it?
They used to play. Well, all the homies that I grew up with, they played it on in the arcade, so they didn't play it on Atari. I just remember playing it at the arcade, and they had to take me with them.
All right. Chief says, "True, this one is already falling. Been less than 500 years, and it's falling apart. Failing. I'm sorry. True, this one is already failing. Been less than 500 years, and it's
in Rome. It took 400 years.
The interesting thing is, though, people don't see it.
Yeah,
they don't see it. But again, I guess that goes back to that Noah building the ark. Nobody saw him. Like, why are you doing that, man? He's like, nah, man. But again, do you understand your assignment? Do you understand that this is what I was called to do? Even though, like, when people are talking about, well, what's your purpose? My purpose is this. How do you work your purpose if nobody is around? Do you only start to do it if you have a crowd in front of you, or if you have only these things that you start operating in your purpose, or do you work the heck out of your purpose until people actually show up? Because I think even Chief has said that before, is the masses is going to come kicking and screaming. You don't worry about them. They're going to come. It's a matter of one putting their head on straight and saying, okay, you know what? This is what I was called to do and understanding my assignment. This is my assignment. Let's go ahead and get it done.
Yeah, it reminds me of Field of Dreams, the movie Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. It's just like that. If you build it, they will come. And what he built the baseball field, and what happened? They came. You know,
They gonna show up. People ain't gonna understand it when you're doing it. They gonna think you crazy. They gonna think y'all doing something. Oh, you in some type of cult. You doing all of this. You gonna learn because it happens just like this. And I think if people didn't learn from when that COVID hit and everybody hit them grocery stores and there wasn't any food in that grocery store, and now all the people just looking around at slim pickings, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Like, are you prepared for Jehovah's return? Now, are you prepared when things are not going the way that you thought they were going to go and things are not going to be as convenient as you originally thought? And it's just always going to be like this, and you still going to be able to feed your family of 4, your family of 6 when there ain't nothing in that grocery store? You got the tools you need in order to start hunting, to protect your family, to protect your group, mentally, physically, spiritually, like I said at the beginning of the reading. Do you have that all in place? Or are you going to try to figure it out when now all of a sudden everything falls apart? Like, that's at that point, particular time, it's too late. It's too late. Sister Deidre says, and when the crazy goes down, it will happen quickly. Are you familyed up? Are you familyed up? Are you familyed up? Are you familyed up? Right? Or you going to start looking and searching for your community that maybe you left because you wanted to eat a turkey sandwich? Come on, man. Come on, man. All right, Ken Akilo dusting the lockdowns. These gaming tournaments sold out more than the Super Bowl.
I told you.
Killing myself laughing. Well, thank you, brother.
Now we know. Now we know.
We can ask, are you familyed up? Also, are you even mateable? People who are intolerable will perish. Attitudes, entitlement, and immaturity will have you at the foot of the mountain torn up. I think and people don't realize is people work hard for their situations, man. Like, I think so many people always think that they always look at it and be like, well, how did I get here? I don't understand why people are treating me like this. I don't understand why things just don't happen in my favor, or whatever the case may be. And that goes back to even at the beginning of Chief, when he starts even doing his lectures and all of that, he's talking about character building. Nah, give me the spell. Give me the ritual. Give me whatever you got in order to just do something to make me feel good right now. Just make me feel good in the moment. Nah, you need to actually sit down and you need to learn and you need to read and you need to study and you need to stop. You need to cut out some of the BS that you're doing on a day out basis. This is why nobody wants to be around you, because your character sucks. Because you can't control what comes out your mouth. You don't know when to stop and just say, you know what, let me just learn. Let me read a room. Let me not just come in here forcing my ideas on everybody, because I don't know what these people know. So let me just practice some humility. Let me just say, you know what, because even if I've learned something in a different community, that may have nothing to do with the community I just entered into. Family protocols. Do you have any? Do you have that beam that holds up that house? Or are you just trying to decorate the outsides, but even though now your insides are just falling apart, they're ugly, they're nasty, they stink. And nobody wants to be around just stinking behind. But now all of a sudden, it's everybody else, though. They have the problem. Nothing can be wrong with me. No, you stink. You stink. And nobody wants to mate you. Nobody wants to. Yeah, and dudes have the ability to have sex with people that they hate and they just can't tolerate. We have that great ability to do that. That doesn't mean that people want to still be around you, man. So let's make that clear too. Let's put that out of the way. All right. It knocked you down for a second. We're gonna move on though. All right. And like, no, I'm not dealing with that. I just need to get my rocks off for a second. And then I'm moving on to the next one. Or do you have the ability though to have peace in the household? Have peace in your own self, where you have the ability to be silent, not quiet, where you have this internal chatter and all this dialogue going on, and all of a sudden you just like, oh, I probably know not to try me. I go off. Man, sit down. When I tell you that no blade of grass pop off, let's see how much you pop off then. Nothing. At any rate.
Yeah. Like Chief broke down this video with the family and what was talking best to the Hebrew Israelites, and then her husband was like, "I'm from Harlem, son." It's like, what is you doing? He about to wash you, and she popping out more than he is. It's like, man, he about to. Man, I never forgot that one because that one was crazy. But he's like, "I'm Harlem, son. come to Harlem, do that." What is you doing? Like,
you gonna learn.
You gonna learn.
Yeah. Chief said, hold the gun sideways. It can kick back and knock your front teeth out. Anybody holding a gun like that been watching too much Money and Violence. Or what's that? Doom, doom, and it's like computer, and he's driving in that green little car. What's that movie, man? Menace to Society. Remember that?
Oh, Menace to Society. Yeah, old dog.
That joint sideways.
Well, they had a bunch of Cali movies like that. So I mean, one just Menace to Society. There was a bunch of them. Even what they should have did it in Boys in the Hood too. It was a bunch of movies like that. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. All right. So automatic position racing, pole position was a man's game. I didn't play the other ones. Yeah, all right.
I don't even know. I still don't know. I gotta look that up. I'm still gonna look. I'm still pole position the man's game. I'm still gonna believe that has something to do with the strip club. So until I look it up. Oh, it's a racing game. Okay.
Oh man. Yeah, she says arcade there. They don't have arcades anymore.
No, they don't have. No, Chief, they do not have arcades anymore. They did away with that when consoles became more and more prevalent in the households. I remember when arcades on their last legs. We would go to arcades to like play shooting games like Terminator. That Terminator game that used to be cool when I was little. And then shoot, even if we had this game at the house, I had, but NBA Jam on arcade, and that was fun. But
I remember that joint. I remember
they don't have arcades no more. Unless you go to like Chuck E. Cheese or something like that. They don't have arcades no more though.
Well, the arcades used to be in the washroom, wasn't they? Like when you go to the wash house or something, and then you play them all arcades over there.
No, for me, arcades was just what they was. It was just nothing but games. Games from one wall to the next wall, and then you had that little game that that you get a dang on stuffed animal or something you got to play, with the claw and whatnot. They had one of those, and then they had a sky hockey. Dang, now I'm getting air hockey. They had the air hockey table. Nah, I've never been to Dave & Buster's, bro. I've never been to Dave & Buster's, but when I was a kid, I went to a few arcades because that's what all the high school guys that I used to hang with when I was little, and I had to tag along with them. That's the arcades that they went to. They did nothing but arcade, put the quarter in, and then they picked me up, and then I start playing. So it'd be fun.
Oh man! All right, Abu Utu said y'all turned an innocent racing game into an adult film.
It's not an adult film. It's actually a business, apparently. That's not an adult film. Yeah. That's actually a business, which is it gets the stereotype in Atlanta. But that has nothing to do with that.
Sister Kashia says, I have an expired membership to an arcade. They exist, but are always attached to something else. I don't know what you're talking about attached to something else. Yeah, we'll walk away from that one. I was hired recently to do some work for an organization that is pushing to have e-gamers receive salaries comparable to NBA, NFL, and NBL players. That's a whole world. I mean, even what's that Meta? I think I seen something where they have the Meta real estate now, where people are buying real estate on this whole computerized platform. Where it's just very interesting. Like you could tell where everything is going.
Yeah,
And it's in this fake reality world where everybody wants to live until all things hit the fan, and all of a sudden you got to pull up.
Exactly. But e-gamers having football, football or basketball salaries. Yeah, as it gets more prevalent, I've had seen that, because they have their own teams, but at the same time, they also, unlike football players or basketball players, they I would say have a shorter career span, because they have to use their hands. You know what I'm saying? That could be damaged, playing them games, for 16 hours or whatever. That could be damaging on your hand as time goes on. Your hands are really your bread and butter in those games. You know what I'm talking about? So you don't really have a really long career in those in that so-called e-sport. You know what I'm saying? You may last till you're 25 or something. Who knows? But it's usually a teenager sport. I wouldn't do it, but I mean, it is what it is, Mike.
So Chief said, "Yeah, humility. What's that? Lost. It's a lost art, a lost ancient art. That now that's like the game. Pole. What is it?
Pole position.
Pole position. Yeah, humility like pole position. It's a whole arcade game. Like Sister Kashia said, it come attached to something. She got the card, but they ain't never going in. That's attached to me having to submit to something. I ain't submitting to nothing. I ain't bound down to nothing. I'm the greatest. My mama been telling me I'm the greatest since I was born, and now now she's been nurturing or neutering me for so long that now I can't actually see what's actually in front of me, because I'm the greatest. I'm supposed to be at the top. I'm supposed to know all of these things. And now that's like that old show the Chief did. You have to be like me in order to stop me. And if you're not like me, then sit there. It's like a cloud trying to stop a car. And all of a sudden people see you coming from a mile away, but then you come with these little baby points. Oh, well, what about this? And what about that? How about you just shut the F up and just learn? Just shut up and learn. You don't know. And if you don't know, then just be grateful and thankful that somebody let you have a seat at the table.
You or even let you sit at the kitty table.
You have nothing but an empty plate and a fork and a knife, but then got the nerve to be like, but what about this? And what about that? You ain't coming with nothing. Sit down. Sit down. And just say, you know what? Thank you. Thank you. I'm just grateful to be here. Let me just get out a notepad and a pen and just absorb all that I can. All that I can in order to start to move forward and clean my own life up, because my own life looked like hell and scunny. And a lot of people who get into therapy work and all of that, they get into it because now, I'm able to tell somebody else and make it feel good about myself. But meanwhile, my own life looks like shit. But I ain't going to worry about that. I'm just going to keep now getting this information, and I'm going to tell everybody else. And then, thank you so much. Oh, you're just so great. Thank you so much. Like I studied. I'm not going to say I learned from Chief. I'm not going to say I learned from this group over here. I'm just going to say, yeah, man, you know what? I do a lot of reading and I do a lot of introspective work. And it's sometimes it just comes to me, and I just appreciate you. I appreciate that you're receiving something that I've said today. And I just study a lot, and here's my card. And if you ever need anything, just let me know. But again, when you gonna get got. You're gonna get got. There's only so long fake players can pretend. You're gonna have that little outfit, and you got your shirt, and you got all of that. Yeah, but what's inside of you? Like what's actually in you? And that's that saying that when you put you don't know what's in a tea bag until you put it in hot water. You're gonna get put in that water. And we're gonna find out what's inside of you. You're gonna start peeing down your leg like a little punk. Nonetheless. All right. Minutes ones go off are usually just used to taking advantage of people's decency. Right. Pouring into them, and all of a sudden they just stand up and walk off. As if, oh, I'm out of here. As if somebody just wasn't just giving, and that whole thing of reciprocity never registers. You know what? I've been taking. Let me put something back into this well that I've been taken from, so that I can now sustain others who are coming after me. That never registers to them. Not once. You know what? I'm just going to keep drinking. I'm going to get my fill until I'm full, I'm fat, and I'm happy, and then I'm going to skip off down the street. But then, meanwhile, 4 or 5 months, well, now I'm dehydrated, and I'm a little parched, and now I'm going to come back and say, it's me, oh Lord. Do you remember me? Now, look, I had to learn a hard lesson, and I've realized that the streets are not for me. Can you let me back in, please?
Bruh, you
Yeah.
coming with it. You just coming with it, bruh. Like, for real.
Yeah.
For sure. Tell him, bruh. No. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. It's cold out there, ain't it? Yeah.
You know it's hard out here. It's so cold in the D.
Oh, man. That's what Chief knowing. Okay, Computer Love and that Mustang 5.0. That joint was green too. Terrible name. Street Fighter Third Strike took all my quarters at the arcade. I played NBA Jam though. She said he had that NBA Jam in the barbershop. He used to have to break up fights at least once every 3 days behind that damn Sega game. Yeah. Hey, that joint got serious.
Yeah.
It must be the shoes. Yeah. Basket. Yeah, he's on fire. That joint. And my president said, "Nah, I'm kidding. There are still arcades in Chinatown in NYC. It's quite nostalgic, actually."
Oh, they do.
She says, "Hey, man, I thought you were teaching us about family." We're gonna get back to it. What you say? You just go for the ride.
Yeah, just go for the ride. You know, hey, you know what's us. You know what's us.
You used to go to 42nd Street, Times Square, to go to arcade in the day, 25-cent live strip show.
Hey, that's real New York though. That's real. Like that's why I mess with you. That is real New York, bro. Like when Times Square had the peep shows and whatnot, way before my time. But I watched a bunch of movies, and when they used to go to Times Square and then go to dang on peep show, 25-cent peep show, like it'd be funny in the movies, but yeah.
You got that peep show though, hey. Sister Deidre says they have these vintage places around the city called Barcode.
Barcade?
GTA took advantage of that name pole position. There was a strip club with that name in the game, which ruined it for any fans of the original game, apparently. Yeah, you were thinking of the metaverse. That's exactly what I'm talking about, Aki. Carpal tunnel syndrome ain't no joke, Aki Low. Can't shoot with no hands. Come on.
Bang.
That people think way too highly of themselves and don't realize when they do that actual humble people are looking right through and over them. I don't like that for the life of me. I don't think people get it. Like, we see you. Like, it's almost like, what's that dude who killed somebody and then tried to hide behind a tree? Ray Caruth. You dummy. Like, what are you doing? Like, you think you're going to hide behind a tree and people can't see? There he goes right there. You're right there. Like, you know, you're still right there. Like, you playing hide and go seek and you just going to stand behind a door but suck in your stomach or something as if somebody... People play along with you for a little bit.
Stand on the other side of the tree.
So I don't see you, but so I'm going to walk around. Okay.
You gotta go hide, and
Johnny,
you
where
stand.
you
You
at?
just gonna hide on base. You
Like,
ain't
come
gonna
on, man.
go
Cut
off and
the
hide. You
BS.
just gonna go off on base. Come on.
Cut the BS. Man, right. And don't forget the ancestors. They cite the ancestors too, but won't say who they study under, which is just scandalous. Right.
I'm
Like you just.
self-taught. I'm self-taught.
And then they do that, or they slow it down and they get that slow breathing, like they're really channeling something.
Yeah, the crystal waters. You know,
Really talking right now.
namaste.
And drag out
And
their
I miss
words.
my energy. It's a bad vibe.
Like,
Negative energy.
Yeah. You be like, cut the BS, man. Cut the BS. But people fall for it though. And as long as you use some words that people don't understand, and they be like, you know, I think Chief said that one time in the thing, you know, that okra is the slime from the okra is the semen from the okra actually implanting and impregnating the okra. And it's like, and people like, yeah, man, that's deep, brother. That's deep. You want to just go around. I think there was an old show with Bertie Mac, and he was just walking around just slapping people. You just want to like, man, wake up. Like, what the? Just wake up, you idiot. Good night. Oh, man. She said, ooh, Sister Petrus threw some lighter and fluid on the fire. Y'all saw the lack of loyalty, integrity, and endurance. People reared with no morals and could care less about the sacrifices made. And I think people don't understand that the person, like, even though, like, you sit and you'll watch Chief do a live like this for 3-4 hours by himself. He ain't taking questions
no
or anything
help,
like
bro.
that, just flowing, right? And how much time, energy, and effort does somebody go through in order to get the information and make it look so effortless and make it look so easy? And people don't think about, you know what, let me put myself in that person's shoes for a second, just for a second. And how would I feel if somebody like myself came along and did the things that I'm doing? Not for 1 second does that cross somebody's mind. They just looking at it, I'm just taking. And a lot of that goes back to the last piece that we're going to read too. They can't even differentiate between these ancestors and precious. Which ancestors? Alum.
Yeah, bro.
All of them. Oh,
all of them.
That's what he said.
All of them. Yeah, that fooled you. All of them.
Now that brother was saying alum.
Yeah, well, because I will put all no, all usually it's EM. That's how I probably would have all of them. Okay, but you put all alone. I was like, all of them.
Oh man, people do that when they think they are smarter than everyone around them, and dumber than everybody else around them, and think people don't see you. Or you done read one book. Now you gonna come in here and try to quote from a book with somebody and think that, or you done read. Oh, that's a good one too. I done read your book, so now I'm at the eye level of the author. So now I know, Chief, I read that book and I read this book, so I see, I know what you're talking about.
I know what you're talking about, Chief.
Yeah. What? I know Orishas and Orishas. They don't even say Orishas. I know these Orishas. What you talking about? And all this other stuff, man. Yeah. I got that. Man, sit down. He was the first one to be caught playing hide and seek. Right. If I put shades on, will I disappear? Like in Big Daddy? What was that movie with Adam Sandler?
It was Big Daddy. It was Big Daddy. Yeah, he give him glasses and on, like he's invisible.
Man, get out of here, dude. Stop it. True, Aki Antonio, but that inability doesn't stop them from crediting their guides, ancestors, and deep reflection before their teachers. It be, yo, I swear to goodness. They put on a whole facade like they really are channeling. Some people, I'm like, man, come on. But then I think people, because they don't study and they don't know any better, they don't know when somebody's taking advantage of them. It's like, come on, y'all. And I think that's what irks my nerves a little bit. It's like, y'all wake up and see this, but then sometimes it's like they don't want to wake up. They want to be dancing in their dreams of darkness. because it's fun. It's too hard. Like my man said, I just want to taste a steak again in
Matrix.
Matrix, right? He's like, look, man, or roll, and the steak might be that Chick-fil-A sandwich, or it might be that, you know, whatever that chicken sandwich is that's on McDonald's, and they roll by, and I know that ain't chicken. I know it ain't, right. But I just want to taste it. I know that fish fillet. I don't know where this fish was caught. I don't know if this is fish, but I just want to taste that tartar sauce and that government cheese that's slapped on the top of that I don't even know, just look like plastic.
McRib. You know they got the McRib back.
Yeah. Right.
Wait for that.
Yo, man. I just want it. Please. I just want it. Blind. That's the Antonio's blind leading the blind. Know it all, leading, know it all. It all. Right. That's the head of state, Isaac. Everybody caught in open palm strike from Bernie. That's what that was. Yeah. You got it, Akilo. I didn't know what he meant by all of them. Thought it was more gamer jargon.
Oh no, hey, gamer jargon would be, you know, tank, DPS, mob, what else? Gank. That's one. Let's see what else. Heals. Oh, well, that's pretty much self-explanatory. Buff, debuff. What else? Mid, top, you know, things like that. That's gamer jargon, you know.
She said, people who live like that never have anything in their lives of substance. They make their money and have their sensual experiences, but none are truly at peace, have companionship, or are prosperous. And I think that's that whole thing of, you know, the trick. What's that thing that they say? The trick of the devil is to make us feel like it doesn't exist. And people get caught up into this material world where it's like, if I have success and defined by somebody else, and if I have this success and I have the white picket fence and I have this family and I have this, quote, I'm going to put quotes around that family. But if I have that and I have this car, 2-car garage, and I have all of these things, I'm successful. But
don't forget the white picket fence. Gotta have a white picket fence now.
Right. And a little dog that's running back and forth, barking.
Exactly.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Like any holidays, you got that music playing in the background. But you missed the whole mark. And then people get it and then wondering why they have these midlife crises of, you know, I got all of this stuff, but something just doesn't seem right. Like something seems to be missing. And if I think I can spin my way out of it, well, you know what? I'm going to just get some more material possessions, or I'm going to just have some more sex, or I'm going to just do whatever it is to try to make me again feel whatever that thing that I'm chasing that's impermanent. I'm going to try and make that impermanent permanent. And in that whole sense of just keep being on this treadmill while I just get enough information from a Chief Yuyan, a new group, or somebody like that. I get enough in there just to get me back off of the hospital bed where I'm up running and I can move again. But then I go right back to just eating crack, smoking crack, and doing the things that I did, where I end up back in the same situation I am. And it's just a never ending cycle. And then one just feel like, well, I just don't know what the issue is. Well, you just got to work harder. You just got to keep striving and doing all of this craziness until one finally says, or one can finally wake up and see, you know what? This is a game. This is a trap. And the only thing that's free is the cheese that's going to get you in the trap. But everybody, I'm going to just go back to doing it again. And I'm going to go do it again. And I'm going to go do it again. But nonetheless, Antonio says that's North Alaskan codfish sandwich. You're right.
No, it ain't.
You're right. Wherever that is.
That ain't that cod.
They caught that fish on February 29th. Is when they caught that every year. Must be a leap year too. Chief said, "Oh, y'all ain't gonna talk about my government cheese now.
That government
across the line.
That government cheese. You know, I love that government cheese. You know, don't you be talking about my government cheese. What's wrong with you?
All right. Staying in the fantasy is easier than facing the real, but our actions and deeds created our reality and present situations, right? She says, I didn't understand one word he just said. I don't know if it was me, if it was you, but
it's probably me. It's probably me.
Who knows?
Hey, you know when you start talking real country and real fast, man, you can't understand what people say. But you pick up on it. You know, you stay around long enough. Yeah. Around about that. What I tell you about that, boy? What you know about that, boy? You know, like, huh? Oh, that's what you said. You know, you pick up on it as time go on, as you listen real hard. And then you start talking like a, you know.
Oh man. As the Antonio said, that's why gamers are socially awkward. Can't use these words in a real conversation unless you're talking to people who know that jargon, right?
Yeah. You know, you look at it, you like, have you ever talked to a girl before? I be wondering. Because they be so socially awkward. You ever talked to a girl before? Ever asked her out? What?
Online, yeah.
I
did my Fortnite dance. She did her Fortnite dance. I said, what's up?
And she swapped right.
Right. Emma Precious says, me either, Chief, not near one. Look here, everybody knows Emma Precious is an English teacher, all right? She uses all of these words and then, okay, all right.
Okay, greetings.
Definitely look into it. Yep, the trap stuff, yeah. All right, we need to finish. Let's finish, Brother Lowe. Come on, what's the last
all right. Let me get to it. Okay. Women will rule over the children in the days of their youth, but all males of adult age exercise loving authority / cover over all women and children under the covering of the homestead.
All right, and I think what I see on that joint right there is just a matter of all males of adult age. But all males of adult age should exercise loving authority. And that's going back, I think, even to the picture that Aki Antonio with the roots. And when it was like, all right, this young man now, he's a man. Like, right? You ain't you ain't gonna be telling him now, move this way, move that way, but now he's now standing on his own too and has to get things done. And I've seen so many people, man, it's like who have this Amazonian mother who is just like, oh, I'm still in control of, my mother has my finances, my mother has this. And it's interesting because they still refer to a 24 or 25-year-old as their child. Or, this 30, 40-year-old as my child. That's an adult, that's a man. Like, at some point, you got to cut the umbilical cord. Or like in Major Payne, he says, you got to pop your titty out the boy's man's leg so we can start and let that dude, he got to grow up.
And stop babying him. That's
right. Well, I call it nurturing.
And I call it neutering.
Come on, man. Come on, man. It's like, yo, at some point, though, this is why now we start talking about weak families, weak men, because now people are breeding with these weak males who now can't stand up and still looking to their mother to make decisions for them. They can't make decisions. They can't, unsure of themselves, emotionally driven. Oh, somebody stepped on my shoe. Now, I think even they said that in the Boondocks, where now shoes become landmines. And now somebody steps on my shoe. Now I'm just going to be like, oh, no, that's disrespect. Man, it's not that big of a deal. It's not, oh, but these my J's, or these my this, or these my that. These KDs right here. I spent $200, $300. You was an idiot for spending that much on them anyway. And I'm not speaking from my high because I got them in college. So, I mean.
Yeah, we used to listen to a song that do what you do, but watch my shoes. Dance with your boo, but watch my shoes.
Oh, I know that.
Because we can get you'll watch my shoes, But yeah, babe, I mean, yeah, it does be like that. I remember one thing that and also not having men to learn from or learn from. One thing I remember my uncle telling me long time ago, he said, boy, don't you ever have a woman know what you're making or have a hold of your finances. Don't you ever do that. That stuck with me when he said it, because um you never know the gems that you'll pick up along the line. So you gotta, listen very carefully. But when he said that, it always stuck with me, man. That's something you don't do. Men don't do that. Like when I was at, doing cool stuff, teenagers do, and my father used to always say, son, men wear belts. He used to always tell me that. I'm like, man, whatever, Dad, whatever. But he's like, son, men wear belts. You keep on saying that. But then I started, what, you sure is right. Men do wear belts, that stuck with me too. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah, and also I would say, women have a issue with letting go of the reins, and they always want to be in charge, even though they're not, and it's damaging to the manhood of that male, when you have a so-called Amazonian mother like that, who obviously got to be crazy herself because she ain't got no man that covers her or gives her direction. So that stunts the growth of that male child. You know what I'm saying? When he probably is going to have a propensity to lead and claim rulership in his own right. I think it's natural in that point. And when you are hindered from that, it can act out in different ways of rebellion. That could also be an issue why you have some males kill their mothers. They murder their mothers. That could be it. A reason, a psychological or subconscious reason.
And it's something that I seen even at where I currently work. It's just like these Amazonian types come in there and it'd be like 25, 35, even 50 plus. Come on, no, my child is gonna do this. So there's a there's a sugar cereal that's in the house that shouldn't be in there, and they need to eat better. And wait a second, they this person can't speak, and I think you would come on, Chief. Amazonian mother has baby, removes the father. There's no man present, and you can smell it. Like you can smell it. The boy becomes her husband slash son. She wants more children, so she tells him to procreate. He has a baby. She chases away child's mother and has grandson slash boyfriend. Come through.
See all that dysfunction. See all that dysfunction.
I remember listening to Chief one day, and he was talking to somebody. He was like, "Man, I'll break you down, put you back together again, all while building my carburetor. Come through, Chief."
Hey, that's how them savages work. You know what I'm talking about? That's how they is. I will break you down like I do my. Well, I couldn't say it. But you know how you can tell how he talk, but I visualize him doing it in his own New York accent. I'm like, yo, B, that's how you do, B. That's how you break down with the jaws,
Man, but I mean, I don't think again though how detrimental that is to a community. But again, if you don't have a community and you don't have no communal standard, and again, you just following the ways of the world, and the world is going to keep telling you you can do whatever you want to. Meanwhile, knowing that they know that doesn't work, I'm just going to keep feeding you the garbage to keep you at the tail and not at the head.
But they tell you that, but they don't tell their women that.
Right. But again, it's that ego. The ego will kick in and be like, oh, okay, then this must be true, or this must be right. I'm listening to myself, or like Emma Precious, I'm listening to these ancestors, or whatever the case may be. Like Kyrie says, I'm gonna go to Mommy Water. I'm gonna go to like, yeah. At what point are you tired? Are you not tired yet? Are you not tired of being the laughing stock of the world? Are you not tired of, always trying to say, fighting for our rights and trying to put up little signs, begging people to take their foot off your neck. Are you not tired? At what point do you say, you know what, it's time for a different game plan? These chess moves that we've been playing on the board, they don't work. They don't work. They haven't been working. Let me do something else. Let me actually submit to this game plan that actually is going to take me to the championship, as opposed to keep doing my own thing and then trying to figure out or blaming why somebody else put me in this position. It's just like, come on, y'all. Come on. All right. Emma Precious says, right, that line reflects the beauty of the righteous family unit. The man-child witnesses a loving and nurturing father and is reared by mothers who empower, educate, and cultivate them towards purpose. Then the youth reflect a lot right back as adults. Right. Sister Kashia says, many of the famous serial killers had deeply rooted issues with their mother. I think even Aki Antonio said that Oedipus complex. Or I think he said that. Maybe, I don't know. I just might have made that up. Don't let me put that on you, Aki Antonio. Antonio says, exactly, Chief. It's the #1 bestseller from the Single Mother Starter Pack catalog. Right. Oh, man. Now that's real. Oh, life. That's real Cheerios of life. That's real. What you think this is? What is that? That's real Cheerios of life?
Circle of life? Circle of life.
I'm going with Cheerios for 500.
I'm gonna go with circle. I'm gonna go circle of life.
Oh man. All right. Sister Kashia says ego edging God out. All right. And then she says there is a book, Serial Killer Files, by Harold Sketcher. And he shows the data proving that all known serial killers can't come from a broken home, single mother, adoption, abuse, abandon. Again. At what point do people not? That goes back to the beginning of when Chief said started talking about, one studying the past, the present,
and the future.
Of then having that psychic capability in order to now I can start to tell where I'm going because I know where I came from. But so many people get stuck on history. But they get stuck on history because they have the ability to bend it. Like I have the ability to break it apart, and I can always point at what somebody did wrong and what they should be doing better and what they could be doing and yada, 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 as opposed to just learning from that. And then now this is where we're going forward. But instead of me going forward and me taking that responsibilities on my shoulders and saying, okay, now this is what we're going to do. And yeah, something may go wrong, but now I don't want to deal with any of that. I'm just going to keep looking back and saying, okay, in history now, we got these great pyramids and we got all of these great kings and queens and we came from all of this. And always, and I remember Chief even said, what would you do with a pyramid today? What you going to do with that joint? But again, are we not going to sit here and learn from any of this? Or are we just going to stay stuck on it and then keep chasing the tail? Just keep doing that same thing. Just keep repeating the same thing over and over and over again. Like, come on, man. Come on. Sister Kashia says, yes, it's a red book. I've read it, Chief. It all begins at home. All right. Sister Kashia. You know a lot about serial killers, huh?
That's a good thing, though. That's a good thing. Tall tale signs, to look out for.
Look at that. Okay, Sister Deidre got Cycle for 500. Okay, let's see.
All right, Cycle.
Cereal's gone bad if it's red, though.
Cheerios can go red? I don't know. I'm just asking. Cheerios go red?
Oh, no. Yeah, that's the one, Sister Kashia. So, Press said Cheerios of life. Really? That was the worst guess ever. Yeah, well, yeah. Chief says it's important that we break that cycle, at least among us. No one is obligated to make with us, but we should feel obligated to make the necessary changes to become viable
and
and
attractive mates.
attractive mates. I mean, at some that's it's like that selfish bug kicks in. People like, but yeah,
You should
but
love
it's
me for
nothing that
me.
but.
You should love me for me, for who I am inside.
Maybe you're an a-hole. How about that? Maybe you're just an a-hole and nobody wants to be around you. Maybe that's it.
But you
And
should
maybe you.
still accept me for who I am.
Oh, here's one. Here's one. What about that one? People be like, they quote that chick. If you can't love me at my
Me at
worst,
my
then you don't
worst. You
deserve
can't
me at
love
my
me
best.
at my best.
Get the F out of here. It's like, why would I want to be around you at your worst? Why would I even want to breathe the same air you're breathing? Like, get away from me. Like, if you can't put yourself together and figure and self-reflect and self-correct, and I have to keep stepping in and keep telling you, come on now, let's do this or what? Nah, man. And like Adam at Doma, and this man is just gonna keep trying. And then he finally sits back and just lets all hell break loose. Well, then guess what? You know what? Cut her loose, man. You got that one's
You
for the
need
streets.
a man with sensitivity.
Hey, a man
Like
me.
me.
Suckers. All right, and listening to these suckers, man. Hey, what they say at house party? Hey, you smell something? You
I smell something. I smell something. What you smell? I smell.
Oh man. Oh yeah. Yeah. Uh-oh, hold on. Let me go back up here. Uh-oh. I don't know what she's talking about. She's talking about the berry flavor. Oh, there we go. I don't know what face she's talking about. That voice had me cracking up. They have had the whole skit flowing. She says, talking about a pyramid and these jokers can't put an IKEA bookshelf together without adding extra glue and duct tape. Who says your ancestors built them? Maybe they were selling corn dogs on
I know they probably selling corn dogs at the limestone cave, where everybody else was working, or selling water. They was probably selling water. They was dragging them dang on limestone cubes.
Right. Everybody's ancestors wasn't the king. Your ancestors might have been the pawn. But again, it might have been the rook. But that even goes back to when people are like, oh, just because we got the same color skin, that doesn't mean that we can. That doesn't mean that that's my A alike, man. We talking about it's that receptivity that I think even Chief said in one of the shows. It's just like if you want your cell phone, some of the cell phone tower, some people are closer to that cell phone tower than others. And if you're not close to that cell phone tower and getting that reception, well, then you know what? You might just be a little further away. That doesn't mean you can't put the work in, but you got to put the work in. But people just claim these things like, oh, yeah, my ancestors. Just like you said, who says your ancestors? That may not be yours. Pull back and just say, you know what? I'm here to learn. That's the only thing I'm here to do is learn and be like a dry sponge that we can just go ahead and start moving forward and take me wherever it is that this train is going. And I'm just want to give. But again, that's hard for people to do.
Yes, it is. For sure.
Brother Antonio says, yeah, or the selfishness mindset of if I do all of that, then I get a man. Right. Right. Like if I do this, then I will receive that. Like as long as so it's not like I'm doing something because I'm just doing it out the goodness of my heart. Or I'm doing it because I feel like I'm just, because everything's reporting to me. I'm doing this because I'm expecting something. So I'm keeping score now. You remember that? You remember that $5 I gave you, Brother Lowe? And I said, don't worry about it. Do you remember that? Yeah, I'm gonna need that back. Like, remember when you did that? So then all of a sudden they start calling you and they had those, hey man, what you doing tomorrow? And you were like, don't really want to answer. He's like, man, where the hell is this going? Like, what do you want, man? And, you remember that time and they keeping score? Just nasty, man. So as long as I do this, then you should be able to get something. How about you just do it because it's just the right thing to do? How about that? How about you just do it because that's what's in your heart? How about that? And that's what you was called to do, as opposed to now I'm going to go ahead and do this because now I want something in return. this a vending machine. I put something in, I get something out, right? Like, yeah, I should get it instantaneously. Now, how about you just get something that a lot of people will see, but maybe you won't? Is just building your character. How about that? Maybe that's a great start. And then yeah, you will get a man, but you ain't looking for that though. You ain't looking to do the work of the internal work. You just want all external so you can show off to everybody else. Look what I got. Nah, if you do all of that, you may improve that. Oh, look at that. There you go. Funky character of yours. Right. Right. Abu says, you remember that sensitivity song, but not the pole old position?
That was before me. That was yeah. I remember that song. He used to play it on the radio, but I didn't know there was a game called Pole Position. That was before my time, but I do remember that dang
song. Oh man! All right. As Sister Dietrich says, and the blood is so diluted, ancestors could likely be Harry K. Yo. That's a reality that people might have to come to, man. And I see it down here. She says everybody isn't from the same region. Like, yo, yeah, you know what, you ain't on the team, man. You ain't make the squad. I'm sorry. I know you go out there and you look for your name and you saying, you tried out hard. You gave it everything you had, but you know what? You won't see team. I'm sorry. All right.
You didn't make the cut.
Everybody ain't gonna get enough playing time. So you can go down there with the 25 people on C team and give it everything you got, man. Oh man. She says, right, brother Antonio, it becomes very transactional, no integrity. I'm just bidding my time to get what I want, but when the hunt is over, I will show my true colors. And it don't take long. Says Sister Deidre, everyone isn't from the same region. Building an amazing edifice doesn't mean you had an amazing connection to the Creator. Breathing ruach. Let me say it like Sister Deidre. Ruach.
I can't say it. I can't get that.
Wow. Walking like an Egyptian. You know, and who sung that song? Walk like an Egyptian. That was great. Somebody again.
No, I know it's 80s song, but I do know it was a white girl that sung that song, but I can't tell you who. Is it the Go-Go's? I don't know. I can't say I know.
Yeah. Master Antonio says, I've seen many brothers fall for and marry a Decepticon, no matter how much warning they get. Hey man, when you get lost in that sauce, man, dudes will start to say anything when they, you put the tip in, and then all of a sudden, hey, I love you.
I love. Girl, I took your bath water.
Hey, everything gone. Like everything thinking is just out the window. But again, that goes back to, can you cover? You got to be solid, man. You got to stand in that thing. And now today, and even people start saying stuff like that though. It's like, girl, when you put that snapper on him, when you put that thing on it, you put that yoga box on them, then ask for this. So then you get whatever you want. And it be idiot males. I'm not even gonna say men. Those males, they'll fall for that, man. Mm-hmm. They'll fall for that garbage. And it's like, but this is who you would want to raise your children? Like this is who you want? Come on, man. That's like in Troy. Remember when he cut him and his brother? He's like, this who you left me for? Like,
is this who you left me for?
Like, come
this
on,
punk,
man.
He run. He gonna challenge me and run like a little punk. That's who you left me for? I am the king of Sparta. I'm the king of warriors. You know what we gotta do to be king around here? And you left me for this punk Trojan?
Yeah.
Because he killed.
Like, come on. Come on, man. Come on. Man. Harmony says, what y'all doing duets now? But this is a reality check. Remaining in a state of supposed perfection is death. And what is dead can't grow. The character has to change. You ain't lying. Patience. Chief says, patience is the key, brother. Antonio, let it ride for 12 months and put her to work. Watch her, test her, and research her. Her words are to be studied, but never entertained. Come on, man. Put the pinky finger up then, Chief.
I see you gonna get me started, brother Zach. You know we lie. You know I can't say what I want to say, but we got to get the dang on picking you up. You know what I'm talking about? We go. See, I can't.
Oh man. Bet you told that. The Bengals sang that.
That's okay. That's who sang it.
All right.
I wouldn't know.
Oh yeah, put that joint on. Again though, imposters, man, trying to make it look like and that even goes back to, I think we were talking about this the other day, when young brothers asked why people read the Bible, right? And a lot of people just want to imitate, or even want, and I think even Chief said that is, people want to imitate cultures of other people. Like, you studying anything,
or take that legacy of other people, or take that legacy
right?
Of other
You
people.
studying the psychology, and if I come just like in that movie Quest for Fire, where if I come way down and from from the Caucasus Mountains or whatever the case may be, and I come over here and I'm just trying to, hoard the fire and make sure that it doesn't go out, and then I see somebody else who just creates fire from stick and dirt and rocks and whatever the case may be, and then he was looking at them like, yo, like he was looking at God. God must be working here, right? So now I'm going to put this in a book so I can try to recreate what I just saw. People just trying to recreate, people, how they live and how they move, because they living like Neanderthals. Yeah. But again, you put so much of it into it, like, and so now I put it in a song. Walk like an Egyptian, talk like one of them. Talk, yo, yeah, right. Sit down, man. Sit down.
Not even understanding the hieroglyphics. They just trying to imitate what they see,
Oh man, she said low whispered a white girl sang that song.
Hey, people sensitive. You say something like that,
Oh man.
Jim Crow may be done, but the new Jim Crow is on and popping, bro. Everybody in their feelings.
We're gonna get that out. Master ain't gonna like it if we start talking about that now. Oh man. My president said he sure did whisper that. I'm saying I knew this shit. Oh gosh. Hilarious. All right, brother Antonio says, little punk named Paris. How you get knocked by a dude named Paris?
Paris. His name is Paris. It's not Hector. It's not Achilles. It's not Agamemnon. They got strong names. It's Paris. It's Paris.
Oh man. He gave it everything he had though. And then but he put whole city, you put everybody at risk.
At risk.
Because
everybody at risk.
You just wanted to,
knock somebody else's wife. Knock somebody else's wife.
And you don't even know this chick.
You don't.
You just
all because you went with Aphrodite. Well, and I do remember a little bit of the mythology. All because Hera, I think Hera, it should be Hera, Aphrodite, and Athena wanted you to pick who's the most beautiful goddess, and you pick Aphrodite, and she said, if you pick me, I give you the most beautiful woman in the world. She didn't tell you that chick would be married, and her husband started a war with your own kingdom and ransack you. But yeah, that whole it. But that not only started a war between nations, it also started a war between the gods of the culture. You know what I'm saying? They was
Right.
even having a civil war, you can say, you know, because some went with the Trojans, some went with the dang on Greeks, you know.
How much of that though? How much of that is your chick just chose though, man? Like the only thing you can do is just tell me how she moves now, and I'll take care of her from this point. Like how much of that goes into that?
We talking about see, here we go. We talking about choosing. Then why he didn't pay no dang on choosing fee? You know what I'm talking about? He didn't even pay a dang on choosing fee. You just gonna knock a chick and not pay a choosing fee? What is wrong with you? Know you mess up the game right there. No, stop.
Oh man. All right. Sovereignty says I love that song too. It was strange until I figured out what an Egyptian actually looked like. Right. Right. Make these things up and said love always on cue. Don't miss a beat, do we? Telling you, don't miss a beat. My brother's solid. Wow, he saw God in that moment for real. That actor deserved an Oscar for that reaction. Right. When he saw that they created that fire and went down there, that joke was like, yo, this is it. And even then, they had all they fat women sitting over there. They was making them screwed in over there like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, this is good. And they're like, yeah, we don't want them over there. Nonetheless, I like yes, that scene was amazing. Caveman starts crying. He realized he met his forefather, God. Imagine when youth started pop locking and breakdancing. Some people knew the ancient rulers had returned. Walking like an Egyptian, man. Like, thank you. Thank you. Says Esther Antonio says Hector should have been like either leave her or stay with her, but she ain't coming. He did say that for a little bit, and then I think he regressed because he like,
relented because that's his little brother. That's my little bro. I can't. My father would probably get mad at me if I let him go and do his own thing. So I gotta take this chick with us. That you gonna get us in trouble. You know how your little brother get. You know.
At what point though do you look at the whole nation? You got a whole nation that you about to put at risk. Just from what we was talking about earlier, we're going to war. And war is just the nasty, people having PTSD, and people getting killed. And even in the beginning, it was like, I put my best fighter against your best fighter, so all of these people don't got to die. But because this dude wants to now chase his stick, and he don't want to think of anything, and I can't think of anything or anyone.
I love Helen.
You.
I will fight for her.
Right. It's like, bro, grow up, man. Like,
but then you tuck tail and run, and she up on the walls watching you
die, and then you get punked like that. How do you go back after that? Like, oh yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. But again, it's just this. You see a lot of males who chasing, running after they stick. And like, man, yeah, I love her though, man. Like, this the one, man. Nah, man, you put some water on your face. You got a hoe, bro. Like, that's for the streets.
Let her go, dog. That ain't your. Oh, I forget.
Hey, don't save her. She
don't want to be saved. Don't save her. Take it to Memphis 10 on them.
Good night. All right. As Antonio said, she had the goddess of love as his wingman. Wasn't no choosing. Man.
Yeah, man. Uh-oh.
Yeah. All right. So I think we got everybody in there. There's nothing else. You got anything you want to say before we get out of here, Brother Lowe?
Oh, no, bro. You know, hey, man, you know, hierarchy is important, you know. It sustains and holds the structure of the family and the bloodline. So get to it, man, and get to it, get covered, and hey, head must not be higher than mine. The king and I, I always say Yul Brynner's my favorite actor. I love him in the king. Yeah, why is your head higher than mine? Yeah, he'll let her know. Head must not be higher than mine.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, guys stop being suckers and simps. Women stop being them Amazonian, overbearing. Nobody can say nothing to you because you just got a foul mouth. Let no blade of grass pop off. You gonna learn.
You gonna learn today.
Yeah, you gonna learn today.
You gonna learn today.
Yeah. So we're gonna end like that, man. Family up. But fix your character if it stinks, man. Nobody wanna be around you so funky behind character, man. All right, we out of here.
All
It's been a
right.
pleasure, y'all. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Shalom.
Deuces.
You gotta close out, brother Zach.
I'm trying, and it said error occurred. It don't want us to go. It don't want
Oh
us
man.
to go. It give us 3.
Error.
Look at it, saying an error occurred. It's not letting me end it.
Wow.
Can y'all still hear us? Or maybe it
Bet
did
you
end.
they can.